You know, Zeke Black is in the building. Top of the morning, top of the morning. The Wolves are up. Salute to Mr. Mike Bills for holding it down. The Tigo Show is in the building. Was popping. Mangua was Papino. Net Stars Live is in the building. Was Papino. Finesse the Dawn. What's your jacket podcast was good. He was good. That's my man from behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? That's my behind the scenes man. He does a lot of work. He does a lot of work with us behind the scenes, and we're just trying to become well versed. So you know, let's shout it out. Shout out to the whole East Harlem, PT 131 crew, Hilltop crew, the Washington Boys, High Post crew, SMS, the Lynch Mob, the 112 and Lex, the Rush Mob, HDS, Wash Mob, Washington Mob, Money Tree, Carver Mob, LBC crew, FEB, FTW, Jeff Mob, Los Bobino, Flow Boys, Down Boys. You know what I'm saying? They're showing love to the whole East Side. What's up? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? Now today's show, we're touching on La Brim's case because the name popped up in Star Brim's case that we were speaking about yesterday in the paperwork show. Remember? Show. And Showtime. A lot of people wonder, are they talking about show or Showtime? Showtime 5-9. Now, the reason I have to take it back to La Brim, because there's a case that's involving La Brim, free him. So a lot of this conversation is going to be allegedly. We're not going to be speaking on a lot of facts. Even if you guys know some facts in that chat, don't mention it because La Brim may be fighting for his freedom. I'm going to say I don't know La Brim personally. I don't know him. I just know of his legend. Now, Miss Pink Sugar was popping. Miss Pink Sugar in the building. 050 the movement is in the building. Shout out to the 050 movement. They're in the building. Everything Glico. Everything on Glico. You know what I'm saying? Let's get them likes up. Great grandson was popping. We're gonna go into the case, well versed. There was a conversation a couple of weeks ago on the 050 China Brim platform where they were speaking about La Brim. And there was some things that was said. Shout out to the Smitty Blow Dollars. That brings us back also to this case. Definitely shout out to China Mac. I'm going to say shout out to China Mac. Now, I may have my personal views because I'm an old school guy that grew up in hip hop. I grew up in the hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the hip hop culture. When you speak about hip hop, you speak about the culture of hip hop. I was born in the 70s. So what y'all trying to separate as to what started first and what started second, I grew up in the culture. The same conversation as the average kid my age that was outside. Mother was partying, disco music, skips, Vietnam vets, played softball. You played softball. We went and bought baseball bats and played softball, sponge ball, stoop ball. These are the things that poor kids did in their hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying? So, on the culture is just after it left the hood, it began to hit spots like the Lower East Side, Flushing, Queens. So we cannot take the Asians out of that. They may not party in our clubs, but they was listening to Run DMC. They was listening to the Big Daddy Kanes. They was listening to the Rock Kents. So it's not for me to pick and choose and go, well, you're not hip hop because you was Asian. Just because you wasn't in our clubs. For those that have been in that Chinatown, they got jazz clubs in Chinatown that's for Asians. I've been to hip hop clubs because my cousin's a party promoter in Midtown where it was Asian hip hop parties. Just for the Asian crowd. So definitely the Asians do follow our culture, and we have to admit definitely the Koreans. If you've ever been in the service or been to Korea, you know that the Koreans mixed with the African Americans. Now we off that topic. Let's get to the get down. A lot of you guys across the world may have heard about La Brim because of the young boy, Whoopty, Mr. Whoopty himself. And it's weird because La Brim Leslie made a phone call about the young boy And it goes to the power, and we're showing you the power of street culture in hip hop. Street culture all over the world. Media-wise, CJ's hip hop career has declined. I don't know about the streaming. The streaming might be still crazy, but media-wise, nobody's really talking about CJ ever since a phone call was made to G5 about free G5 about CJ not being Whoopty, not being whatever the case may be. That's their politics. So Brim is not just not a nobody. His voice means something. He has a voice. I told you, the legend of Brim. A lot of people don't even know who Brim is. Never been in the same room with him. But they've always heard when he walked off a block, something sort of happened. We're going to touch on the opening statements of his federal case. One of his federal cases. Now, when I came home from the prison system, whatever the case may be, whatever year, Brim was on the road. He went to situations, politics, a lot of politics going on. And again, Showtime name who I'm having this, being in this case, name's going to come up. Now, there's another name that is going to come up. His name is AK. It's not the same AK that was the GF in the streets for Outlaw 23. Just to be clear, they're not the two different AKs. So when we go into the AK conversation, we're not talking about AK Mafia. We're talking about AK, somebody that was in the prison system, going through issues with Brim. We have a lot of things. We have a lot of content coming to you guys. Thank you for the support. We're up 112% in the views. We rocking. We rocking. You know what I'm saying? Definitely shout out to the 050, the movement, everything Glico, heavy on the Glico. Cam Stone in the building. Salute to Cam Stone. I seen you this morning. Salute to Cam Stone. Now here we go. We're going to start it off. Let's get there. This is some stuff. We're going to Brim, Bloodhound Brim's opening statements. Now, a lot of you guys may not realize the power of the Brims in the Max had in the street. Other than the alleged war between the Max and Hounds, they had a lot to do with the hip-hop culture. Like I said, a lot of guys that was behind these strip clubs, that was behind these scenes, was definitely following their movements. These guys, actually, a lot of their, what you would call drops, are part of what you'll call Bronx drill. A lot of their drops was inspiring into that movement, that dancing. Before they had the music and the dancing, but they didn't call it drill music back then. Because you had crews that was popping, like the Coke Boys. You had the Coke Boys popping. Definitely shout out to Tremont, the boys on Tremont. You had crews that was popping, and at that time you had crews like the YGs. The ones that Paparazzi Poe claimed. Shout out to Paparazzi out there. You know what I'm saying? You had the old YGs. You had the street crews coming back. And they was more so the young boys that was getting caught. But a lot of these young boys was what you call double jacking. So I might be YG, but I might be Mac Baller. I might be old YG, but or I might be 1090. Or I might be, you know what I'm saying? Some weird names. Not that weird name. It was still these cliques. But I might be Bloodhound. I might be Hound. Now, I don't know if these the OGs was allowing the double jacking that happened. I'm not going to sit here to say that. But these are the years of that. Heavy on everything heavy right now. You know what I'm saying? It was a movement. I can say one thing is that I think Chief Keef had played a big inspiration to what's known as New York drill. You know what I'm saying? A lot of New York. When I came home from up north, them young boys was loving Chief Keef. Like they was loving him. Like Sosa, that's on Sosa, and like they was following Chief Keef. Flex was playing a Little Reef. You know what I'm saying? They was playing a Little Dirk. Like that OTF thing was on go, but you got to keep in mind the man that was running 300 Entertainment at that time was Leon Cohen, which is an East Coast guy. So, of course, him being an East Coast guy and the ex-president of Def Jam Records, he's going to push, he know how to push the music. So he had a chance to get them music within our markets, and this is what it has turned to from 300 Entertainment. You know what I'm saying? But you can do your own due diligence on that. You know what I'm saying? Now you're going into live Brim. Here we go. Opening statements. Live Brim and the Bloodhound Brim's trial. Opening statements. For the people across the world, we're talking about the Bronx, New York. You know what I'm saying?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We will now proceed with the government's opening statement. Please proceed. This is a case about a violent gang called the Bloodhound Brims. For over a decade, members of the Bloodhound Brims committed crimes together. They flooded the streets of New York City and upstate New York with crack cocaine, powder cocaine, and heroin. They amassed an arsenal of guns and ammunition, and they used those guns repeatedly to try to kill other people. Guns, drugs, violence, power. That's what the Bloodhound Brims was all about. Now, sitting in the courtroom this morning are three high-ranking leaders of the Bloodhound Brims. It's the defendants, Lateef Johnson, Brandon Green, and Donnell Murray. This man, Lateef Johnson, was the founder and the head of the Bloodhound Brims. They called him La Brim. You'll learn that La Brim is the man who called the shots in this gang. He wrote the rules. He handed down the discipline to members of the gang who were under him. He declared war on rival gangs. He personally committed and he ordered people under him to commit brutal acts of violence. They called him the Godfather, the GF of the Bloodhound Brims. His word was the gang version of the law. This man, Brandon Green, was another high-ranking member of the Bloodhound Brims. He goes by the name Light. You'll see that Light was one of the main drug suppliers for the Bloodhound Brims. That's how this gang made money. They sold illegal drugs in New York City and upstate New York. Joss?
Now, rest in peace to Nell. Rest in peace to Nell. That's the person voice I believe that's on the speaking right there. Definitely shout out to Main Ling out there. What I know about Light, when I was in the streets, Light was the Light that I heard about that was Hound. He had like a car dealership off of what's that? Off of Boston Road somewhere. It's up there by I know it was by. He had a car dealership, or he was selling cars by Mount Vernon. Somewhere in that Mount Vernon area, going into Mount Vernon from the Bronx. I remember that on 180th and Daly Avenue, there was a building that had courtyards. That's where the Hounds used to be at when I used to be over there. Now, allegedly, I say allegedly, by 180th and Daly, you know what I'm saying? In the Bronx, on the 80th side. There was a courtyard, there was a big building on 180th, and a lot of Hounds used to be over there. Shout out to Busy Brim, used to bring me over there a lot. You know what I'm saying? For you guys who remember Busy. That was like a home. That was a place where a lot of Hounds was at, in that building. You know what I'm saying? Damn, I remember a whole lot of times. Ooh, that's crazy. I was around for all that. You know what I'm saying? But Light name always used to come up because Light, I guess he sold cars. That's what I know. That's what I heard him for. He was selling cars or doing something with cars by Mount Vernon. This Light. Now, the crazy part about Light and Lie is when Lie was locked up, Light was chilling. Then a situation happened with the alleged Max situation, and still, Light was able to get around a lot of that stuff politically. And then this happens, and it just, you know what I'm saying? He got caught up. You know what I'm saying? This is what happens. You know, this happens in these gangs, these positions. After a while, you get caught up. But a lot of you guys know Light. You know what I'm saying? So definitely for a lot, y'all know better than I know. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to BQ, Mommy, Corona, Queens, East Elmhurst is in the building. You know what I'm saying? Definitely shout out to Either War Projects in the building. It's funny because I remember when I came home, there was a lot of YGs in the Either War Projects. And he was going, they did politics with the homies. And some of them had some politics with, I think with Lie. A little bit with Lie. I'm not too sure. My little man was, you know what I'm saying? La was just La Brim. You know, they did not do. You know what I'm saying?
Also going to learn that Light kept a stash of loaded guns for the Bloodhound Brims. And this man, Donnell Murray, rose to become one of La Brim's most trusted lieutenants in the Bloodhound Brims. You'll learn he goes by the name Don P. You'll learn that Don P sold drugs and carried drugs with other members of the Bloodhound Brims, and he participated in some of the Brim's most brazen acts of violence. La Brim, Light, Don P. These three men ran a criminal organization that operated by its own code, a code of power and violence, with no respect for the law or public safety. They treated parts of New York like their own shooting range, their own open-air drug market. For year after year, they engaged in acts of violence and drug dealing, with no regard for the damage they were causing to the community. That's why we're here. For the crimes they committed with the Bloodhound Brims, the defendants stand charged with racketeering offenses, firearm offenses, and narcotics offenses. So let me take a step back and tell you what the evidence in this case is going to show and how we're going to prove it. First, what will the evidence...
Okay, let's get the 40 likes. You got 52, let's get the 40 likes. The 40 likes says, wake some wolves up. The only way the wolves is going to wake up, we get the 40. Let's wake the wolves up. It's time for the wolves to get this tea. Now, y'all see, I come on every day for you guys. I'm doing this every day for you guys. I'm being well versed. I'm taking how I personally feel about certain situations out of it. Now, somebody might go, Z, what's your ins and outs of the situation? The situation is I used to be Brim. I used to be Outlaw 20 Brim. I never had an issue. I never had a chance to have an issue with the Bloodhound Brims, but because of politics, because of the politics, I never had a chance to go through it with that because the politics was a clean getaway with the politics. But I was at one point in time a part of the army. I was a part of the army for a little while. You know what I'm saying? When I left New York State Prison, I was a part of the army, and then that's when the politics kicked in, a little bit before I left. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
The evidence in this case is going to show that La Brim founded the Bloodhound Brims in 2005. Many of the gang's first members were inmates at New York State prisons. And you'll learn that the gang had operations from within the New York State prison system. But the gang quickly spread from the prisons to the public streets. By 2015, the Bloodhound Brims had hundreds of members in all 5 boroughs of New York City. But the gang didn't just stop in New York. It had members in locations all across the country, in places like Pennsylvania, Delaware, Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, all the way to Texas. Light and Don P stood right under La Brim, overseeing this huge criminal organization. You're going to learn that the Bloodhound Brims was a highly organized gang. Members moved up and kept their status in the gang, mostly based on the acts of violence and the crimes they committed. Members of the Bloodhound Brims had to take an oath of loyalty to the gang. They had to go to meetings that were held by the gang, and they had to pay membership fees. There was even a written code of conduct and a set of rules that all the members had to live by. If anyone broke the rules, they were disciplined, sometimes violently. You're also going to hear about specific crimes that these defendants committed and ordered other people to commit for the Bloodhound Brims. Those crimes include violence in New York State prisons, slashings in jail.
Salute the wifey, Southern Bells in the building. Salute the wifey. The wifey's in the building. Let's get to that 40. Let's wake the wolves up. G Mac, top of the morning. G Mac was good. So this is actually La Brim's opening statements trial. Like I said, I was a part of the army. I didn't get faded. I didn't get dubbed. And actually, put this on record, my hood didn't get dubbed. The situation happened was the person who had my hood pulled out. And when he wanted to come back, I don't even know if he wanted to come back, but you know what I'm saying? All I'm gonna say is he pulled out. That's how that started. I'm gonna be well versed here. The man who had Outlaw 20 Brim pulled out. Anything happened after that, I don't care about. It wasn't like we got kicked out. So you know what I'm saying? So it was just he pulled out the situation. And then whatever happens after that, that's all politics. You know what I'm saying? But that man didn't get kicked out the whip. That did not happen. We're gonna be well versed here. We're gonna be well versed. Um, the man who had the hood, the situation, because I'm pretty sure he won't be, because he's doing all the right things right now. He's right, he's being positive. So it's not like I'm not saying his name because I have a situation. I don't have a situation. I'm not saying his name because I don't think he wants his name in this video. But if he does want his name in this video, all he got to do is hop in the chat and go top of the morning, and then I can include his name. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly. You know what I'm saying? That's how we have to be well versed there. You know what I'm saying? With certain, because you got some dudes that's doing the right thing, like Pee Wee's doing the right thing. Some dudes are doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? But the reason I mentioned Pee Wee, because since Pee Wee been home, he's been shown he's doing the right thing. With there's certain individuals that they're stepping into the right thing arena. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta let them. You know, you don't want to keep bringing up things that you know what I'm saying. That's all it is. It's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Bentley. That's, you know, so y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. Harlem Douglas consider that 40. Let's get back to the opening statements out of Brim's trial. So I'm just let you know that when I was in Kate Vincent, I was Hat. I was Brim. Yes, I was Brim when I was in Kate Vincent. I was Velly. He was in the same door. I was with Ice Brim. But now I guess Ice is Mac Baller. We was all together. You know what I'm saying? We was all in the spot together, you heard?
Slashings where razors and scalpels were used as weapons. Slashings that were ordered by the defendant, Brim, the boss of the Bloodhound Brims. Those crimes also include the sale of drugs on the streets of New York City and beyond New York City. You're going to learn how large quantities of crack cocaine, powder cocaine, and heroin were transported from New York City to small towns in upstate New York, places like Elmira, where they were sold to drug addicts. The defendant Light was one of the leaders of that drug operation that went from New York City to upstate New York. But Light and the other members of the gang didn't just take advantage of drug addicts by taking their money and selling them drugs. They also used them. They used them to drive members of the gang around in cars. They used their homes as stash houses. And they bribed them with free drugs for finding new drug customers. Members of the gang also brought their guns with them to upstate New York, using them for protection while they sold drugs. You're also going to hear about violent conflicts that developed between the Bloodhound Brims and other gangs operating in the Bronx. A crucial part of the image and reputation of the Bloodhound Brims was how it dealt with these rival gangs. So anytime the Bloodhound Brims were disrespected, they retaliated with swift and brutal violence. In the fall of 2012, Brim ordered the members of the Bloodhound Brims to commit a drive-by shooting at rival gang members in the Bronx. When they received these orders from the boss, Brim, they didn't hesitate to carry them out. They committed a shooting on a public street in the middle of a residential neighborhood in the Bronx. And earlier that year, in January 2012, Brim personally used an AK-47 rifle to shoot at people who were inside a restaurant in the Bronx. You'll hear that Brim stood outside the restaurant on a public street with the AK-47, and he opened fire, sending numerous shots through the windows of the restaurant, trying to hit members of a rival gang who were inside. He hit his intended victims, and they suffered gunshot wounds. And you're going to learn that the person who served as Brim's getaway driver, the person who drove him to the scene of the shooting and helped him escape after he shot up a legitimate business on a public street, was one of his top lieutenants in the Bloodhound Brims, the defendant, Don P. That's what the evidence in this case is going to show. It's going to show that these defendants, Brim, Light, and Don P., served at the top of a widespread criminal organization that inflicted brutal acts of violence and drug dealing over and over again in New York City and beyond, with no regard for the law or public safety. Now, how are we going to prove it? There's going to be many different types of evidence in this case. First, you're going to see physical evidence. You will see a pile of guns and hundreds of rounds of ammunition seized from members of the Bloodhound Brims. We will show you the 6 loaded guns seized from Light on the day of his arrest.
Damn. Now listen, you know every time we get to that 60, let's get to that 60. You know how I do. 60-60. Let's get those likes to that 60. You know how we do. We get to that 60, that mean you're up. You got your coffee going, you got your blunts rolled. Let's get to that 60. 60-60. Like I said, Light was in the street. Light is in the street. He was in the street. He was in the street. He wasn't in jail. He was in the streets. Again, I'm speaking. I'm speaking from this. From when I first came home, there was a new movement that was popping in I gotta say allegedly in the Brim Nation. There was called Frontline Assassin. Then in the middle of Frontline Assassin, there was politics within that. And then there was politics within that. That's how I met War Brim, because at that point in time, allegedly, War Brim was like he was a high-ranking member of Frontline Brims, and I met him. You know what I'm saying? That's how I met Fatso, and that's how I met the rest of them. War Brim, that y'all may have met in the Eastern District in Clubhouse. When I first met him, I met him when I first came home. He introduced me to a lot of individuals, and he introduced me to a lot of individuals, and in the middle of a lot of individuals was that's how I met Fatso, that's how I met Holiday, that's how I met, I met a lot of people. So every shout out to the 6-1s. I met Uptown, that's how I met Uptown, that's how I met Hassan Campbell, so definitely shout out to Uptown. So it's a long list of streets. Check this out. All on 180th Street, you know what I'm saying, in the Bronx, by Southern Boulevard, 80th side. Back to the content. Let's get to that 60 likes again. So at that point in time in the streets, a lot of things was changing. Things was changing in the streets. You had the Frontline Assassin situation, but then you had a strong. There was here, but there was a strong movement of West Coast branded bloods when they came to the Brims. You had the 6-1s on the come up, the Renegade Brims. You ever remember the Renegades? They was out here getting their numbers up. Those are the last months of when I first came home. AK was in the Hound whip. He left Outlaw 20 and went to the Hounds with his situation. And then I believe it was 6-1 or 6 Deuce Brim or something like that. But he went to the feds. So the streets is changing now, people. I'm tell you, what's in the streets now is you got a West Coast bloods, allegedly, West Coast Brim sets, and then you got the Max and the Hounds. These are the years they talk about, 2012, 2013, 14, 15. The years that they're talking about the situations, this is what was going on in the streets of New York. I'm just, for what I remember, I was pulling up over there. I was pulling up on Daily Avenue. You know what I'm saying? Definitely shout out to, Busy Brim. I'm gonna show you some receipts. I have to show you receipts of who I'm talking about. That being said, let's get back to the content.
We're also going to see drugs seized from members of the Bloodhound Brims, but not just drugs. You're also going to see the tools of the drug trade, the equipment that goes along with drug dealing. You're going to see grinders, strainers, digital scales that are used to weigh the drugs, the glassine envelopes that are used to package the drugs. You're also going to see financial records showing some of the money from the sale of drugs in upstate New York flowing back to New York City. You're also going to see documents, paperwork seized from members of the gang that actually lays out, in writing, the structure, the history, and the rules of the Bloodhound Brims. Some of that gang paperwork will list secret code words used by members of the gang to talk about drugs, guns, knives, and shootings. These are some of the types of evidence that you're going to see during this trial. But there's also a type of evidence that you're going to hear. Audio recordings of phone calls that LaBrim made while he was in prison. Phone calls he made while he was still running the Bloodhound Brims from inside a jail. During these phone calls, you're going to hear LaBrim talk about the Bloodhound Brims in his own words. You're going to hear many of the secret code words that you're going to see in that gang paperwork. You're going to hear LaBrim giving orders, handing out discipline, and demanding money from other members of the Bloodhound Brims. You're also going to hear from witnesses who will appear in court and testify before you under oath. You're going to hear from law enforcement officers at every level, local, state, and federal. The law enforcement officers will testify about how they collected evidence and seized guns and drugs from members of the Bloodhound Brims. You're also going to hear from witnesses who were at the scene of the shooting at the restaurant that I described earlier. You'll hear their description of the destruction, the broken glass, the shell casings, and the victims with their gunshot wounds. You're also going to hear from other members of the Bloodhound Brims who committed crimes right alongside these three defendants. Now make no mistake, these witnesses, like the defendants who were participants in the gang, have committed serious crimes. Some of them have even committed murders. And these witnesses will tell you, they're not just testifying out of the goodness of their hearts. Each of them entered into an agreement with the government to cooperate, to provide information and to testify, in hopes of receiving less jail time. But your common sense will tell you that only other members of the Bloodhound Brims can give you a view from the inside as to how this gang operated and the crimes that these defendants committed. So the question is not going to be whether you like these witnesses or approve of the things they've done. The only question is whether they're telling you the truth. So listen to their testimony, scrutinize it carefully, and consider how it fits together with all of the other evidence that you're going to see and hear. The guns, the drugs, the financial records, the documents, the recordings, the testimony from other witnesses, all of the other evidence in this case. By the end of this trial, all of the evidence will come together, and you're going to know exactly what happened here. The defendants, Brim, Light, and Don P, were leaders of a powerful and lawless gang that inflicted brutal acts of violence and drug dealing on the New York City area and beyond for many years. Now, towards the end of this trial, when all the evidence has been presented, we'll have another opportunity to speak to you about how the evidence proves up in each of the individual charges in this case. But in the meantime, I'm going to ask that you do three things. First, pay close attention to the evidence. Second, follow Judge Gardeffi's instructions on the law. And finally, use your common sense. It's the same common sense that you use every day, the same wisdom and good judgment that you bring to every important decision that you make. If you do these three things, the defendants will receive a fair trial, and you're going to reach the only verdict that's consistent with the evidence and the law, that the defendants are guilty.
Rest in peace to Nell, you heard? Rest in peace to Nell. Rest in peace to Nell from Crown Court TV. She passed on. Rest in peace to Nell. This case this is opening statements. It's to bring up a lot of the history. A lot of you people, for a lot of you guys, when you hear a lot of this, you're gonna hear a lot of treachery, a lot of conniving, a lot of backstabbing. And the weird part about this is that La was locked up 60% of the time in these situations. You're gonna hear a lot of. That's why they said there's a lot of jail phone calls being made because La happened to be locked up a lot of those times. Oh yeah, just rest in peace to K Solo's wife Joyce. K Solo's wife, may she rest in peace. May God bless him and his family. We definitely send our condolences from the wolves, from feeding the wolves. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So definitely the wolves are sending their condolences. You know what I'm saying? So rest in peace, K Solo's wife Joyce. God bless you, man. Benediction. There's times that we have to enjoy our people and enjoy our loved ones. And it was all fun and games, man. But like I've been with my wife for the last 7 years, and I know that as we get older, there's a destiny for us. And I just live your life happily with your significant other, man. Just be happy, man. So I send mine to K Solo, man. Because every king is a strong queen. Because they deal with everything. Our queens do all. They deal with the old us, the new us, the throwback us. They deal with everything. So definitely we send our condolences from the wolves now. You know what I'm saying? The wolves is definitely sending their condolences. I'm gonna show you the power of a man who probably didn't realize the power that he had. Allegedly, I gotta say allegedly because the man's probably fighting for his freedom as we speak. We're not gonna put facts on certain situations because the man's fighting for his freedom. Now we're gonna go into Showtime. I don't know if that's the Showtime I've ever heard about. He was 5'9". What's Your Jacket podcast said that Showtime passed away in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? What I heard about Showtime was a situation between him and Brim. So we're gonna touch in on that because that might have been the same Showtime that came up in Star Brim's case. The name that came up in Star Brim's case was Show. You know what I'm saying? So they might be the same Showtimes. Now, for what I heard about Showtime is Showtime was in tune with the in tune when it came to the high-ranking members. And what I did also hear was that when Brim was in the situation in the can, that Showtime was put in position to lead. As crazy as this sounds, okay, Show who passed away was 8. Gotcha. That's why I said, okay, so What's Your Jacket was he was 8. The Showtime I'm talking about, definitely that's why I'm happy you jumped in the joint. Because the Showtime I heard about was this Showtime. He was huge. You know what I'm saying? He just happened to be in tune with the in tune. Now a lot of people said that he was a visiting guy who goes visits and makes his rounds. That's Showtime. He makes his rounds and he gets these links. Like I told you, in New York, it's a little more different than any place else. It's crazy as it sounds. I don't know how people get their status, but I just know that things work. So now, I'm gonna go into, there's a few Showtimes. You know the Showtime we talking about, this one. This situation was with the females. This guy was in a top position, and this is where it gets a little slimy and grimy at. Remember, Brim has 2 Fed cases. This is one of them. You know what I'm saying? This is the guy that he put in the top position. Let's go. And actually, if I'm correct, him and Showtime was co-defendants on this case, even though allegedly Live tried to kill him.
What does whoopty mean? That's Hound. That's to let you know the Hounds is in the building. Who is allowed to say whoopty? Only the Hounds. You testified that you were a member of the Bloodhound Brims for about 3 years. Where were you at the end of that time? I got locked up. Where were you locked up? In Broome County, Binghamton. What had you been arrested for?
Now you notice how they said upstate New York, right? So that's Binghamton, but that's like, what they call that, the west something, they call it a certain area, but it's going towards Elmira. But that area is going towards Elmira. The Elmira, Binghamton, Elmira, that side, western New York. That's the western part of New York.
Guns, drugs, and money. Why did you leave the Bloodhound Brims at that time? Me and Lyle wasn't seeing eye to eye. You know, we was having our little dispute. You and Lyle were having a dispute? Yes. What was the nature of that dispute? He didn't trust me. Why not?
You wonder why. You know what I'm saying?
And I didn't do it. What did he want you to do to Showtime? Objection. Overruled. He wanted me to kill him. All right. How, if all, did you communicate your decision to leave the game? I wrote a letter.
Yo, he said Brim ain't trust him. We wonder why. You understand testifying against him. We wonder why. You know what I'm saying? He said, yo, La didn't trust me. You understand, bro? You know what I'm saying? I know La had to, what was that sitting in that court to be like, son, that's how, well, it's very obvious why I wouldn't trust you if I did these crimes. You understand, bro?
To who? To La. Who did you address it to? To Nikki. Who is Nikki again? The one on the board, the dark-skinned lady. She is a member of the gang? Yes, ma'am.
Shout out to Nikki, man. Shout out to Nikki, man. Definitely shout out to Nikki. She good people. She always support my something like before me and somebody had a falling out. She She also put them out of my stuff, man. Shout out to Nikki. You know what I'm saying? She out there. There's a couple of names they're gonna say that. Like, but I don't say I never met Nikki personally, but she supported a lot of my content before. Actually, just hit the like button the other day. Definitely shout out to Nikki. You know what I'm saying? This is the era of Brim that they're talking about. New York Brim. There's a guy that's locked up now, Free Pure Blood. He was a part of that flow, those years. You know what I'm saying? Those years, Fatso and all that. You know what I'm saying? Fatso Brim. You know, so when Fatso was low riding and all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about those years. I'm talking about those years of Brim in New York. Don't check it. Get the likes to like I told you. Let's get to that 60. You heard?
Did she have status at that time? I think she was
Well,
the
you know,
high.
Brim the Stone, you heard? Fidel
She was
Castro.
high? Yeah,
Fidel
I think
Castro.
so.
101,
What
you
did the
heard?
letter say that you wrote to Love? It just said that, you know, I was out and then I'm flying solo. You said I'm flying solo? Yes, ma'am. During the time that you were in jail in Bronx County and you sent the letter, were other hounds in jail with you? Yes, ma'am. What was your relationship to the hounds that you were locked up with? Well, they was under me and they had came to Binghamton with me. They were under you? Yes. What do you mean by that? They was brought home by me, like they was with me. Were you still representing to them that you were hound? No. Did you still have friendly relationships with them? Yes. Did you continue to commit crimes with them while you were in prison? Yes, I did. What crimes? We sold heroin and we had weapons. Where is Binghamton? Upstate New York. So you testified earlier that you know Light, Don P.
The Western Tier. When you leave like Cape Vincent, the bus stops in Watertown, Syracuse, and then makes a stop in Binghamton. Can't make this up. But you know way to Elmira, you pass Binghamton to get to the L. I think it's stack 10, stack 100. It's stack 10.
Did you met any of those people?
I'd see when the video's
Don
over.
P when I first joined. So I would like to take them one by one. Let's start with Light. How did you first meet Light? I met him about at Showtime's house. Where was Showtime? Bronx. Living? In the Bronx. Okay, just to be clear, do you recall the year? It has to be between sometime in 2010 and 2011. Was this before or after you and Showtime joined the Bloodhound Brims? This was after we already joined. And what was your rank at the time? I was the high. How were you introduced to Light? Show was just like, he just was like, this is the hound boy Light. What did you understand Show to mean by calling Light a hound boy? That he was part of us. He was part of the jet. He was part of the hood. Objection, Your Honor. Overruled. We're going to show you on your screens what's been marked for identification as Government Exhibit 712H, which is from the Instagram account, G5 Light. Do you recognize that, Mr. Morton? Yes. What is it? It's a picture of somebody throwing a hat, a gang sign. The government offers 712H. Objection, Your Honor. Objection. Do we need to approach on this? So 712H, is it in evidence now or it's been authenticated by stipulation and we are offering it now? Well, so has the authentication stipulation been read? It has, Your Honor. And what does it say? Because I don't remember it. It says that this piece of evidence was taken from a particular Instagram account and it lays forth the business records, what the custodian would have authenticated if we had called a custodian. Your Honor, there is no connection. There is no connection of this. There is no evidence this Instagram account belonged to Mr. Green. I need to see the stipulation. All right. I've been handed a stipulation marked as Government Exhibit 1003. So there's a line that says Government Exhibit 712 and 712-1 are inserted from the Instagram account G5 Light. Is that the one I should direct my attention to? Yes, Your Honor. I think we should have filled in the exact exhibit numbers before we offered it. All right. I would ask that you consult with defense counsel and fill in the appropriate letters. But I think the objection is that up to this point, there hasn't been any testimony that Instagram account G5 Light is associated with Mr. Green. Is that the basis for your objection? Yes, Your Honor. I don't believe I said that it was, Your Honor. I said that this exhibit was taken from the Instagram account called G5 Light, which is exactly what the stipulation says. Okay, But then I don't understand your basis for offering 712H. It is a gang sign. Oh no, I understand that, but it hasn't been linked up with anybody that is on trial here. It is just a floating photograph of someone showing a gang sign. Do you understand what I'm saying? I do, Your Honor. The rest of the photographs on the account include people's faces. I think it will be clear that G5 Light does refer. I'm sustaining the objection. Mr. Morton, when you met Light for the first time, did he have any status in the gang that you were aware of? Objection. Sustained. No foundation. Mr. Morton, did you at any point in time have conversations with other hounds about Light's status in the gang? Yes. And did other hounds tell you what Light's status in the gang was? Yes. At the time that you first met him, were you aware of what Light's status in the gang was? Yes. What was that? He was the GF. Mr. Morton, just at the time that you met him, did he have status? No. Objection, Your Honor. Asked and answered. No, that's not. May we approach, Your Honor? Yes.
Rest in peace to Nell. Rest in peace to Nell. Crown Court TV. Now, I don't know who the Morton guy is. I don't know who 10 Stacks is. That's the Hound situation, knee deep in the Hounds. AK know them, AK Mafia, because he used to be Hound before. He used to be Hound. He was Outlaw 20, he was Hound, he was a couple of other hat hoods, you know what I'm saying? Let me show you the AK Mafia, shout out to East Elmhurst, Queens. Those years when I came home, it was a transition in the streets with situations. This is really, I believe this is before the situation with the second case that he actually caught, that lie caught. Now, I remember, I don't know, I think it was 05 or 06, I was locked up in Albany County Jail. And there was a kid that was locked up with us. His name was Seven. And Seven used to be top one of the top ranks for lowrider Brim. But he caught a Fed charge in Schenectady, New York. For the people that's out of town. Schenectady, New York is upstate New York. And Seven, touching on the blood money Brim, you said. That I remember. Seven had got a kite from somebody in a situation. And they had okayed him to have blood money Brim. And they had some of them that was in Schenectady. There was a few. For those that know Seven, he's from Brownsville. You know what I'm saying? He's from the Ville, official cat. Free him. You know what I'm saying? He's locked up again. He's in the pound. But I know him personally. Me and him had many conversations. When he was in the spot, he held the spot down. We was in Albany County Jail together. Good dude, good people, man. For those that know Seven, you know from the Ville. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely was a good co-signer. Whenever I went to Brownsville, I was good money. Definitely, you know, me and his brother may have had issues, but definitely salute the P guard. You know what I'm saying? Definitely salute the P guard. Guys, salute the man. You know what I'm saying? I always been good. When I went to Brownsville, but you know those areas, Tilden, Rockaway, Livonia, you know that little zone over there. You know what I'm saying? Definitely salute the Seven. We touching on the elements. So when he said B&B, I just touched on what I know about B&B. The first time I heard B&B, it did get sanctioned, but Seven went to the feds, so I don't know what happened after that, because he did a dime in the feds. It was a situation that happened in Schenectady. He had caught a fed charge in Schenectady. For those that's from East Elmhurst, Queens, he used to hang out with a homie called Blaze. Blaze caught his own fed charge, but Blaze was East Gangster. That's my man Blaze. He's from Corona, East Elmhurst. Actually, he's from your block, BQ, mommy. He's another one. He used to be in Schenectady, New York. Let's give you a backdrop of Zeke Black. You know what I'm saying? The homies. I know Blaze personally also. That's the homie. You know what I'm saying? Now, we got another one. 10 Stacks takes the stand. 10 Stacks Morton, that's the guy taking the stand against Live Brim. Thomas 10 Stacks Morton takes stand against Live Brim, the Bloodhound Brims.
course creator, retargeting is crucial to extract every last.
Shout out to Concourse TV. Get in tune with the in tune. That's what we did it to.
Mr. Morton, I'll just ask you to pull that microphone very close to your mouth if you could. You can adjust it. Thank you. How old are you? 42. Where were you born? Flushing, Queens, New York. Where did you grow up? Between Bronx and Queens. How far did you go in school? A little bit of college. Where did you do that little bit of college? Wyoming Correctional Facility. Okay, do you have a GED? Yes. How far did you go in school before you got your GED? To 9th grade. Okay, where do you live now? Queens Private Correctional Facility, GEO. I'm sorry? GEO. GEO is the name of it? Yes, ma'am. Is that a federal jail? Yes, ma'am. When did you start living in federal jail? Around March 6, 2017.
Hold on.
When you were initially arrested.
Yo, is GEO, is that by DMV, by Rockaway? That's that fresh spot over there? No, I'm talking about by DMV in Queens. When you're going towards, I think, 5 towns or something like that, it's in the side block. That's where they have, I heard, that's where they had 69 at, I think. They have a lot of people that cooperate, or cops that get locked up and catch federal charges. They sit up in that spot. It's by the DMV. That's in Queens. That's the one that's like by Rockaway, or the ones that's like by Rockaway. I could be wrong, but somebody showed me the building. It was going towards that DMV over there.
What were you arrested for? Racketeering, firearm in aid of racketeering, and drug conspiracy. Have you pled guilty to any federal crimes? Yes. What federal crimes did you plead guilty to? Racketeering, drug conspiracy, firearm in aid of racketeering, murder for hire, firearm and murder through the use of a firearm, and conspiracy to commit murder. All right. Those 3 murder charges, were they all related to the same incident? Yes, ma'am. All right. Have you been sentenced for your crimes? No, ma'am. When you pled guilty, did you have a cooperation agreement with the government? Yes, ma'am. We're going to come back to that later, but briefly, what does that agreement require you to do? Come to all of the meetings, not commit any more crimes, and tell the truth. You said you pled to racketeering. What was that charge related to? To my participation in the Bloodhound Brim. What are the Bloodhound Brims? It's a New York street gang. Does it go by any other names? BHB and Hound. And Hound? Any others you can think of? Bloodhound Brims, BHB, Hats, the Jets. The Jets? Yes. Looking around the courtroom today, do you recognize anyone else who was in the Bloodhound Brims with you? Yes. Can you please point out that person or persons by where they're sitting and what they're wearing? Light, he has on glasses with a blue shirt, blue sweater. And Don P got bald head with glasses. And La Brim, he has a yellow shirt with a tie. Your Honor, may the record reflect that the witness has identified each of the defendants? Record will so reflect. Mr. Morton, before you were a member of the Bloodhound Brims, were you a member of any other gang? Yes. What other gang or gangs were you a member of? I was a member of 5'9" Brim, Mac Baller Brim, and East Homicide. What are all of those? They're all hoods under the Brim, under the NYBBA. What is a hood? A hood is like the set. A hood is just, a group of people, group of individuals representing that set. A hood and a set are the same thing? Yes, ma'am. You said they were all under the NYBBA. What is that? That's like the nation of it. That's like, that's the group as a whole. Does NYBBA stand for something? New York Blood Brim Army. How many hoods or sets are under the NYBBA? It's supposed to be 9. Miss Arnie, Can we please pull up the government exhibit 902, which is in evidence? Mr. Morton, do you see that on your screen? Yes, ma'am. Do you recognize it? Yes. What is it? It's a graph of the pedigree. Which part of this is the pedigree? The bottom part? The blue? The blue? Yes. What are pedigree? It's the boroughs. It's supposed to be all of the boroughs, you know. Individual. Each hood, each borough has whatever's Hound in that borough. That's the pedigree they represent. All right, let's take a step back. What's in the orange box at the top? That is the name. That's the nation. NYBBA. What's the yellow box under that? That's the hood that I was a part of. The hood? Bloodhound Brim. Under that are the pedigrees? Yes, ma'am.
While we there, I'd like to thank Crown Course TV for giving me the green light to actually showcase this content to you guys. Let's get to 70 likes. Let's get to 70. Now I do when I get to the 60s and the 70s. Let's get to 70th Street. East 70th Street on the Upper East Side, which is Yorkville, 10128. Where the money at? Let's get to the money. Let's get to the money. We get to the meat and potatoes. For a lot of you guys that's younger, they may not really realize who La Brim is. This is what he's allegedly accused of. Like I said, we have to say allegedly because the man's fighting for his life. You know what I'm saying? What this has to do with hip hop culture? People may ask, because the youngins incorporated things that came from that culture that was in the street. That's why you see a lot of these young boys dancing around. They either Mac Baller, Blazer, Hound, Great Sheet Crib. All that comes from these older generations. These young boys that we see that's losing their mind, they come from these blocks where these structures are at. The only difference is a lot of these young boys that's claiming one gang, they claiming the YGs or the old, you know what I'm saying, the 1090s and the other situations. Is that, you know what I'm saying? Now, again, why everything can't be negative on La Brim? Because La Brim created something called what was it called? The Jet Blue. Him and P Gutter put something together called the Jet Blue. And it was supposed to bring Bloods and Crips together to do some music stuff. I was seeing La Brim hanging out with P Gutter. La Brim was running around in big cars, by Lambert Project. Shout out to the homies in Lambert. So La Brim was trying to do the right thing. You know, before he caught the actual shooting situation in the diner, allegedly, he was attempting to do the right thing with the music stuff. They was doing some things. Him, Chia Lee, China Mac, they was trying to do some things. I don't know. I can't talk about the parameters of what they was doing, but I was seeing a lot of videos where La Brim was pulling up with them with Bobby Smurda when Bobby Smurda took off. When he, you know what I'm saying? When he took off, there was with P Gutter. Free P Gutter. We're gonna be well versed here. Like I said, we're not gonna get territorial. We're not gonna get color banging. We're gonna deal with the facts. So before La caught his case, I know people want to say he's the worst guy in the world. He was trying to make a move in hip hop, and in all honesty, in one of China Mac's first videos, he had China Mac was in it. It was on 125th, somewhere in Harlem, and it took off. So a lot of street credibility that goes with China Mac, no matter what he's doing. La Brim played a part to that. Just, you know, his friendship with La Brim. You know what I'm saying? Because they was trying to do the music thing. I don't know what to, you know what I'm saying? China Mac probably explained it a whole lot better. But that's what I remember. And I'm gonna show a video where somebody I was locked up with was with China Mac in the video. You know what I'm saying? And I know him personally. You know what I'm saying? I remember when he first jumped in that Hound whip, he told me, yeah, parole. Yo, son, I'm Hound. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? At Bronx parole, allegedly. So, let's get back there.
Were you a member of a particular pedigree? No, because I was gone when they officially started it. But I was there in the making of it. What do you mean you were there in the official start of it? When it was officially stamped and sanctioned, I was already out. But if I was still in it, I would have been a member of Queens, Beagle Hound. Were pedigrees also a part of the BHB? No. They started at some time after you were a member. Yes, ma'am. All right. How did Beagle get its name? Brim gave it to him. You said that that's your pedigree because you were from Queens. Yes. What did you think of the name Beagle? Objection. Sustained. I didn't. Sustained. When I say sustained, that means you don't answer the question. Oh. Mr. Morton, before the pedigrees were named, was there a discussion between you and other members of the Bloodhound Brims about what the name should be? Yes, ma'am. What name did you want Queens to have? Objection. Objection. Grounds. Relevance. Overruled. What name did you want, Mr. Morton? I wanted it to be Wolfhound. Why'd you want that? Because objection. Same basis? Yes. Overruled. Beaglehound was too, like a little dog. It wasn't aggressive enough. We can take that down, Miss Harney. When did you first join the Bloods, Mr. Morton? Around 2011. 2010, sorry. Mr. Morton, when did you first join any Brim set? 2001. Where were you then? In Downstate Correctional Facility. Just to be clear, are the Brims Bloods? Yes, ma'am. How did you come to join the Bloods? A guy named Brim brought me home under him. What does that mean, brought me home? Termy blood. What was your relationship to Brim after he brought you home? I was like his drop. What does it mean to be a drop? That I was under him. Who else was a drop of Brim? At one point, Brim. At the time you first joined the Bloods, did you receive information about the gang and about its history? Yes. How did you get that information? Through a packet, letters. It was written down, paper. What kinds of things was written on the paper you received? Excuse me? What kinds of things were written on the paperwork that you received? Objection. Grounds? Hearsay. Overruled. You can answer. Like when did blood start? Who started it? How many hoods was in it? Oaths. What's an oath? It's what you take when you turn blood. What's the significance of taking an oath? It's so that you could, it's just something to show the loyalty, you know. It's a pledge. It's for you to pledge your loyalty to that hood. Why is it important to get paperwork explaining the history of the Bloods? Objection. Sustained. Mr. Morton, let's go through some of the other sets that you mentioned being a part of. When did you switch from 5'9" to Mac Bala Brim? At some point when I got locked up on Rikers Island. Why would you switch? It was just, Mac Bala was a little bit more popular. It was moving a little more different than 5'9" Brim was. So, and it was a couple of GFs that was there. So I just went under them. What's a GF? It's like the head of the gang. It's Godfather. The Godfather of Mac Bala? Yes, ma'am. Who are the Godfathers of Mac Bala? Lo and Eli was there. You said that was when you were at Rikers? Yes, ma'am. After you got released from Rikers, did you continue being part of Mac Ballers? No. For a little while? For a little while until, I left there. Okay, why'd you leave? I got shot, and nobody, they didn't know anything about it. Who shot you? Some Crips. What are Crips? It's like a rival gang to the Bloods. Okay, where did that shooting take place? In the Bronx. Where specifically? In Parkchester. Before the time that you were shot, had you had any other disputes with Crips in Parkchester before? Yeah, off and on. What was the nature of those disputes? Little beefs. Objection, Your Honor. Overruled. Little beefs about the drugs that I might have been selling, things like that. You said there were beefs. What does that mean? Excuse me? You said beefs. What do you mean? Like I was selling drugs out there. They didn't want me to sell drugs out there. It created a problem. And you said they didn't do nothing. What are you talking about? They did retaliate. Who's they? The Max. After you were shot, The Max didn't retaliate? No, ma'am. Did you want them to do that? Yes. Why'd you want them to do that? Because I got shot, and I was parted in.
Rest in peace to now. Rest in peace to now. Now, for those people that's not from New York City, Parkchester is a section in the Bronx. I'm going to a little receipt right now. I'm about to go into a receipt, party people, some receipts. It's best to go into some receipts, right? Alright, hold on, party people. Yeah. Let's get this to 70. While we didn't have an intermission, let's get to 70 likes. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to the big 7 though. 70th Grammy on 70th Street. All right. It's a touchy moment. It was alleged some Crips did this in Parkchester section of the Bronx. What I'm gonna say is, the man that got shot, I knew him. I met him. That was that he used to be with Redbone from he's from the west side, the Billy. You know what I'm saying? I met him with Redbone in Uptown because the Uptowns was over there on Garfield. Remember Garfield by Tremont? Give me the area. And I met him there. When I met him, the young boy was Mac Baller. He had a beef in the Parkchester section, and he had a situation with some Crips because they wound up catching a Fed case, and they called it. They said that they was Crips. I'm not, I don't know if all of them was Crips, but they were saying that it was Crips. And before the man passed away, he called a good friend of mine because he had a beef about his sister. Now, I thought that he got assassinated because of the situation with the beef with his sister, but nah, it was a hood beef. But these kids caught a Fed charge over this. But I'm about to give y'all something that might be a little chilling, because he mentioned the Crips in Parkchester, so I give y'all something. It might be a little sensitive to your ears. This happened. I remember when it happened. Rest in peace to the homie. I sent my love to his family. You know what I'm saying? I know his little brother. You know what I'm saying? Here we go.
Geico presents Daily.
Before we get to Geico, it's very sensitive. Get to 70 likes. It's disturbing. And this is a newer game coach. Remember I told about the game coach. This is 2015. The streets is changing. It's getting more drillers on the streets. It's getting more drillers on the streets of New York. We're not paying attention because it's the young boys, but they're on a different type of time.
Man, 21, dies after he's shot in the head in the Bronx with daughter in his arms. Cops. The last thing he saw was his wide-eyed baby girl still cradled in his tattooed arms, clutching her to his chest after a fatal bullet tore through his head. Blood splattered onto little Taylor, a precious 1-year-old who escaped unharmed. But her father, 21-year-old Alan McQueen, was killed in the afternoon gunfire on a Bronx street. The killer sped off in a Mercedes-Benz after the shooting, police said. It happened at 1:23 p.m. Tuesday in Parkchester on Taylor Avenue, a street eerily bearing the baby's name. Taylor is also the name of a violent street gang, the Taylor Crew, that police say McQueen ran with in the Bronx. The guy shot a man with a baby, one stunned onlooker said. Who does that? Who shoots a man holding a baby? Taylor, who celebrated her first birthday last month and is nicknamed the Diva, tumbled from her father's arms and was scooped up by Ariel Corkery, 23, who watched the violence from a homeless shelter. I was inside, I was with my 2 daughters, my bed was right next to the window, and I heard 2 pops and I saw the guy drop with the baby, said the mother of 6. Corkery said little Taylor cried for a couple of seconds. Then there was silence. McQueen was on his back,
and when he fell he twirled and fell on top of her, she said. I picked him up, and I picked up the baby. She was covered in blood. McQueen's siblings were horrified. My brother didn't deserve to die like that, his sister Jennifer McQueen, 35, said. The shooting took place across the street from the Taylor playground, which was teeming with children Tuesday afternoon. He looked scared, a witness told the Daily News, adding that McQueen warned a bunch of kids to flee the area before the bullets started flying. The gunman fired once and missed before chasing McQueen down the street and firing twice more, police said. Moments after McQueen died, his brother was outside the emergency room at Jacobi Medical Center, screaming in anguish. My brother just died, cried the sibling, who asked not to be identified. He got shot in the head. Relatives said McQueen doted on Taylor. Every breath, every minute he was excited to see his daughter, Jennifer McQueen said. Breaking news. Alan McQueen had another side, one that cops say may have played a role in his murder. McQueen had been arrested 23 times, mostly for robbery and assault, and was known to carry a gun, according to police sources. He had problems with other people, but he's young, McQueen's father, Woodrow Hines, 60, admitted. He was a good dad. He had just left our house, too. He said he was taking her to the park. As of Sunday, 168 people have been killed in the city this year, a nearly 10% increase over the same period in 2014, according to police. An NYPD officer searches for evidence under cars at the scene of a shooting. A 21-year-old male was shot on Taylor Avenue, right across from where he lived at 1531 Taylor Avenue. He then ran with a 2-year-old baby and collapsed on Taylor Girl in AVS. He is now DOA and the baby was injured. Richard Harbus for New York Daily News. Richard Harbus / for New York Daily News. An NYPD officer searches for evidence under cars at the scene of a...
Rest in peace to Alan. I knew him actually. So we're giving you Taylor Avenue now, but some people might see Parchester's full of condominiums. The Parchester also got side blocks, and this happened on the side block in Parchester. It was some Crips involved with that Taylor Ave boy situation. They wound up getting swept up, and the alleged killer in that situation, he got 40 years, like 40 years in the feds for that and some numerous other crimes. But when he touched on Parchester with the Crips and he got shot, I'm giving you that time. 2015 is when this happened. The streets was changing. The young boys was getting, which was drilling a little bit, but we didn't know what drilling was because the only thing we knew about drilling was what Chief Keef, what was going on with. And I ain't gonna lie to you, academics was going crazy, informing us about the whole Chirac thing. And that Chirac thing, believe it or not, was touching to the younger generation. 2015 is what happened in 2015. Young boy sees somebody jump out of a Benz, he shoots a man allegedly in the head with his baby. They think they're in Chicago right now. You know what I'm saying? They listen to Chief Keef, they listen to Little Dirk. These guys is popular in New York because, gotta keep in mind, Leon Cohen was one of the heads of 300 Entertainment. So by them being East Coast executives, they're pushing their music on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? So it's it gets a little, the waters get a little testy there. But rest in peace to Alan. I just gave you a description. I didn't want to use him as, I'm just giving you a description for you guys across the country. This is how bad it was getting in New York in 2015 with the young boys. Now remember, these are the younger homies. These are the 25 years old, the 21-year-olds, 2015. They're not traditionally following the jail protocol unless you're around them. Now let's get back to the get back. Rest in peace to Alan. Yes, let's get back to Alan. He just took 10 stacks. Let's get to the get down. Now we got Brim. Brim, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, so again, I had a chance to give you the process. Let's get the segment. Now we're gonna go into some receipts. Now, Mike, okay, because a lot of people got this story confused. So I'm bringing this story back up so we can be on point. The AK I'm talking about is not AK Mafia, not the GF in the streets. That used to be Outlaw 20. Then he became Hound. This is not the same one. This is another AK that was locked up in the New York State prison. You know what I'm saying? We touched on the AK situation. When I was up north, I was there for the dynamo politics with the Bentley situation. I was up north for that because that flew across our ears. That was one of the politics that was going on when I was up north in the maximum prison. We're gonna touch on that right now, but give me 1 second. Hold on. That was a real situation. I remember when the kites was flying with that. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I was popping with that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I remember that. You know what I'm saying? Hold on 1 second. Now, I'm gonna take it back to that. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get back. We gotta get back to the get back. We show our unconditionals, and we get back to the get back. So now we can touch on the AK. Now the AK, that the dynamo politics, that's something that I can't speak about online, but you know what I'm saying? Oh, it's coming soon. The Joffrey joint is coming soon, but the AK politics is coming real soon. The politics that story's crazy, but that, I can't talk about the inside politics, the dynamo thing. I heard things, but those that's in the know, they know why the situation happened with Dynamo. You know what I'm saying? And him and the other couple of dudes, politics. Well, the AK they talking about is not AK Mafia. The AK Mafia was around. Don't get it twisted. He was around. He was definitely a GF of Outlaw 20 Brims. He was pulling up on the visit. I remember I was in the jail when he was pulling up. He goes, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Psycho out there. They was pulling up to see the man in charge of that car. You know what I'm saying? The man that had that Ferrari, they was pulling up to see the man who had that Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? So you know. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta get to Crown Course TV. You gotta get what we gotta get to. Free La Brim, you heard?
What were some of the Hound salutes? Dead game. Respond. Never stop. I'm sorry. Dead game. You will respond. I never stop. If looks could kill, you will respond. How style my body. That's just the way Hound style. Hound people. That's just the way we talk. It's just the way we walk. And just to be clear, is that a sort of call or response? Yeah. In your experience, are prisoners who are located in different states from each other able to call each other on the phone directly from the prison? No. In your experience, are prisoners allowed to call anyone they want? No, you got a phone list. What was on the phone list? It's the numbers that you put on your phone list. If you wanted to call someone who was not on your phone list, how would you do that? By calling someone who's on your phone list and having them do a three-way? And when you say three-way, what do you mean? Like a conference call. In your experience, are prisoners allowed to send mail directly to each other? No. So how would members of the gang communicate across different jails? Objection. Sustained. In your experience, were members of the gang able to communicate across different jails? Objection. Sustained. Can we stick with what he did or what he knows directly? Yes, Your Honor. Were you able to communicate across different jails to a different Hound? Yes. How were you able to do that? Third party, or we had a P.O. box. When you said third party, what do you mean? I would send a letter to one of my family members and they would send it to the person I'm trying to send it to. Or we had a P.O. box and we would send it to the P.O. box. And whoever was designated to deal with the P.O. box would send it to the person it was going to. Did that have any name, what you just described? Yeah, it's called Boomerang and the Kite. If you wanted to send a letter to someone in prison, what identifying information would you need to include on the letter? We would need to know your DIN number. What's a DIN number? It's the inmate number. And you mentioned a P.O. box. Who was in charge of the P.O. box? Oh, at the time when we had a P.O. box, it was Showtime. Who is Showtime? Showtime is Hound. What was Showtime's position in the game? He was the active GF on the streets.
Let's get the 80. Let's get the 80. We at 80. Let's get the 80. This is the different times. This is the up north. This is up north. This is the jail joint. You know what I'm saying? This is the up north vibe. You know what I'm saying? This is the up north vibe. We at 70. Let's get the 80. 80, 80. You know what I'm saying? 80th Street, the upper east side. You heard? Shout out to all my man from the YTC. Shout out to Scheme Team. Shout out to Scheme Team. He does a lot of good. He do what he do. Shout out to Scheme Team. He was around for all these politics. Believe me, he got caught up in all these politics. He's been around. You know what I'm saying? Scheme has been around. He's got caught up in these politics. He know how it go. And these spots you walk into a war. Definitely the Bentley situation. I was up north for the Bentley situation, but the spot I was in, it wasn't that bad. It was too much politics going on. I was in there with Ox Brim, who's, you know what I'm saying, for those that who know who Ox Brim was, and Cape Vincent, and he became Mac, and my other man, we called him Ox. It was Ox Brim, and what's they called? I seen Son 2 by Webster. His name would come right back to me, but he was the Bentley too. He had status in Hellboy. I think we called him Hellboy. And be like a Hellboy. He Mac now. That's when I seen he was Mac. He actually walked me to the train station to the 5 line. I was cutting through the Bronx. I like to walk. I was cutting through the Bronx, and I seen him. And it was Hellboy. Back then he was Hellboy. He was in the Bentley. He pulled up. But there was a lot of politics going on with the Bentley at that point in time. At that time. We're talking about the old 11s, old 10s, old 11s, and the kites is flying around the universe. And there was a lot of situations. And the newest thing that was popping was Frontline Assassin. I was up north for that. You know what I'm saying? I was up north for that. Definitely salute to those that was in the situation. Definitely salute to Shango out there, you know, in the atmosphere. We can't forget about the notables. You know what I'm saying? We gotta salute the people like, yes, no, see, you know what I'm saying? We can't forget about the notable ones out there. You know what I'm saying? That people don't tell you because they attach their names to so much gang relations that dudes. There's a lot of dudes that at those prime years was a different time for New York because it wasn't so much gang. It was gang, but a lot of these dudes was rapping. So these are the people that was on the scenes at these showcases. Paparazzi Poe was running around with the Piff unit. Shout out to DJ Suave out there. You know what I'm saying? You had these different rappers. You had French Montana, you had the Coke Boys, but all the Coke Boys ain't homies. But that, you know, those was waves in New York. The strip clubs, the Crazy Horse, and the Bada Bing, and all that, and all those strip clubs that was rocking. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It became part of the culture. I remember like Ciroc, all that became part of the culture, the street. That blew up in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Ciroc. You know what I'm saying? Definitely salute to Jersey. You know what I'm saying? The Blazers in Jersey, the Billies in Jersey, the Shines in Jersey. You know what I'm saying? Definitely salute to them. But this is about La Brim. What? It's all love, baby.
When was Showtime the acting GF on the streets? Oh, at the time I was in prison to around 2010, when 10,000 became the acting GF. What was your understanding of what Showtime would do with the letters he received at the P.O. box? Objection. Sustained. When you were in state prison from 2005 until 2011, did you stay in communication with La Brim? Yes. How did you stay in communication with La Brim? I would use the P.O. box in the beginning. Then later on down the line, I used to send it to my family and have them send it. How often did you receive any kites from La Brim? Yes. How often did you receive kites from La Brim? You didn't write that much. And did you send kites to La Brim? Yes. How often did you send kites to La Brim? At least once a month, sometimes a little longer. What kinds of messages did you send to La Brim? To ask him basically what was going on with Hounds, to have a lineup change, if there was anything that I needed to know about the NYBBA, or who was in play, who wasn't in play, things of that nature. Why was it important to you to send kites like that? Number one, communication was a must, and I needed to know what was going on. Why did you need to know what was going on? Because I was a high-ranking member, and usually if there's a plate around, you can't be around it. Why can't you be around someone who is a plate? Because you become a plate. Did you at any point learn La Brim's DIN number? Yes. Do you remember what it is? Yes. Go ahead. 0086415. You recall testifying that you went from being a soldier to having rank in the game because you put in work. Yes. What work did you put in as part of the Bloodhound Brims? I cut somebody, and I had somebody cut. When you say cut, can you describe what you mean? Took a scalpel, and I cut somebody in the face. How many cuttings did you personally commit? 1. Who did you cut? AK. Who is AK? AK was a Brim.
Now that's not AK Mafia. That's two different AKs. In clarifying this, it's two different AKs. That's AK in prison. That's AK Mafia was in prison too, but they're two different AKs. That's not the he didn't get cut in the Hound whip, jumped in the outlaw whip, then went back to the Hound whip. That didn't happen like that. He was in the outlaw whip. From the outlaw whip, he went to the Hound whip. From the Hound whip, he went to the West Coast whip, and then the life goes on. Allegedly, I say allegedly, party people. That's to do with that's to do with the allegedly.
Was he a Bloodhound Brim? No. Do you remember what set AK was? He was Outlaw 20 Brim. When did this cutting take place? In Comstock. And when? In 2005. Again, Comstock is what? It's a state correctional facility. What led you to cut AK? Well, in the kite that Geronimo had received, it said that AK had fumbled a plate and he was no good. Is this the same kite you had testified about earlier? Yes. And who wrote that kite? La. What does it mean that AK had fumbled a plate and he was no good? He got an order to do something and he didn't do it. What did it mean that AK was no good? He was a plate. Why did that message from La Brim lead you to cut AK? Because I was under that hood, and I was the only one who was on the lock-in quarters with AK. By lock-in quarters, what do you mean? Where we lived at in the cells. Can you describe how that cutting took place? We was standing in the yard under the gun tower. I asked him what was going on. He started talking. I cut him in his face. What did you cut him with? A scalpel. Were you caught by the guards? No. What was your understanding of the goal of cutting someone in prison? It leaves a mark. It's like a sticker. It lets everybody else know something wrong there. Do you have an understanding of what it means in this context to take an autograph? Yeah. What is that? It's to cut somebody. Leave your signature. I want to show you what sparked Government Exhibit 40. I have a question. So you told us that AK was in a different Brim group, right? You said he was in Outlaw 20 Brim? Correct. So are you telling us that he was subject to discipline by you even though he wasn't a Bloodhound Brim himself? Correct. He's still Brim. All right. Go ahead. Do you recognize this photo, Government Exhibit 40? Yes. How do you recognize?
Let's be clear. You can text what you want to text, but This show is not about disco. It's not about disrespecting disco. You're talking about something, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, your personal feelings about somebody, that's how you feel. But this show is not about disrespecting disco. In the comments, you're talking about disco. Disco has nothing to do with what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So that's why if we're gonna stick to the content. It's like you in my comments asking about OG Mac. OG Mac is this is not what we're doing the story about. We're talking about La Brim. You know what I'm saying? So that's why. Exactly. It's not about you're not asking the question. You can feel the way you want to feel about somebody. My job is not to convince you. I was never raised that way. My job is not to convince you who's real and who's fake. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with disco. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't like disco, you see things the way you see it. That's how you see it. What am I gonna do? Bendito. You know what I'm saying? But we on the time of content because this is very crucial information. This is New York State prison politics. Allegedly, things changed in the street over these conversations. These yard talks that you're hearing is what turned into what's considered New York drill music in New York City. This content is so important because the content that y'all listening to from the first generation is really the DMX era of hip hop in the club and the streets. That was the streets, the DMX era, the Nori eras, and the Jay-Z's and that era going crazy. But then now this is the sneak that the era that snuck up on us. Because these young boys is following hip hop, but from the situations in the mountains was changing the politics in the streets. Because now the young boys that would have been in the Bentley, they turn their hoods is faded. Now imagine how many dudes in the street at that point in time that refused to drop their flag that created something that took the love off the streets. A lot of these transitions. So listen to what's going on here. So you have a better description of that. Sounds so simple. What happened in the yard, but think about when you hear let's hear the story out. Just keep your ears open. Shout out to Disco Ball. I love you. Webster Projects. You already know what it is, brother. You family. You heard?
That's AK. The government offers Government Exhibit 40. No objection. No objection. Government Exhibit 40 is received. Do you have a nameplate or whatever for him? We don't, Your Honor. Okay, go ahead. Mr. Adams, can you see in this photograph where you cut AK? Yes. Where is that? On the left side. Left side of what? To my left side. On the right side of his face. Can we activate the touchscreen ability on this? Thank you. Mr. Adams, can you take your finger and just trace where you think you see where you cut him? Did you see AK again after you caught him? Yes. Twice. And when was that? The first time he walked by my cell, we was in Comstock. The second time in Auburn in 2007.
This is what they call Auburn Hatburn. Auburn was Hatburn. Historical, this is history right here. Allegedly, Auburn, I gotta say allegedly, Auburn was Hatburn at this point in time. There was a lot of names in that spot, but that was one spot that had its name for the hats. It was the burn. You know what I'm saying? That the burn was known as a spot for the hats. You had other, like I said, you had a lot of great names. That was a lot of names was in them spots. But that spot had a name as being Hatburn, allegedly. For those that was in the system, they know what I'm talking about. That was one place where if you was real right and you was hat, you was good. You know what I'm saying? At one point in time, because it was known as Hatburn. Allegedly. He's getting to it.
When you got to Auburn, how did you learn that AK was there? La told me that I had abandoned in jail. I'm sorry, can you say again what La said? That I had abandoned in the jail. Where was La when he told you this? La was walking past the channel. So La was at Auburn? Yes. Did you have an understanding of what La meant by bandit? Yeah, enemy. And after La told you that you had a bandit in the jail, did you have any further discussions with La about that bandit? Yeah. What was said? Well, I wanted to know why he was allowed to still live in the jail after I cut him. I was told that La and Mel Cross would talk about it because AK was under the Outlaw 20 and Mel Cross was a GF for the Outlaw 20, and that they would come to the conclusion of what would happen between me and him. Just to be clear, who said all of this to you? La told me that. And what exactly did La say? He said that he would speak to Mel Cross and they would decide what would happen between me and AK. Who is Mel Cross? Mel Cross was the GF for the Outlaw 20, Brim. And do you have an understanding of why La Brim said he was going to talk to Mel Cross? Because Mel Cross was in the jail, and if I would have just did something to AK, it would start a war amongst us. And again, what set was AK in? Outlaw 20. Did you come to speak to La Brim?
Now, that's not AK Mafia. I heard about AK that was in the street, AK Mafia. There's two different AKs. I believe they called that AK Action. I'm not too sure. They both from the Bronx. But AK Mafia has ties to Queens, Flushing, Queens. No, not Flushing, Corona and East Elmhurst, Queens. Let's be real versed here. That's AK Mafia, the rapper. The guy you see rapping. Two different AKs. Now listen to this. Now listen to this.
Rap again about AK? Yes. How did that conversation go? He told me that me and AK was going to shoot the 5-9 and nobody else would get involved, that I knew what to do. What does shoot the 5-9 mean? Fight, one-on-one. I'm sorry, say it again? To fight, one-on-one. What else did La say? I knew what to do. Did you have an understanding of what La meant when he said to you that you knew what to do? Yes. What was that? Cut him again. Did you end up having a confrontation with AK? Yes.
Now check this out. They come to an agreement of, yo, they're gonna shoot the 5-9, whatever that is, allegedly. Allegedly, La tells him, yo, forget the 5-9, shoot him. Now check this out. This goes to show this. I'm gonna tell you what's even crazy. Much love, Vine War. This goes to show you, right? Now La goes. You heard what he said. If I just ran up on him and started popping on him, then it'd cause a situation between, two different sets, two different hoods. So what you think would have happened had he cut some? Look at the politics of that, man. And sometimes it's just weird what Duke just said. You said you just couldn't run up on him, right? This is what he said. You would have created something. So La went to the table. It was a waste of man's time, allegedly. Yo, son, they can shoot the 5-9, to still tell him, yo, shoot him. Now, if he would have shot him, how that would have made the man who went to the tables with him look? Like, yo, son, you lined that up. For that, you might as well just made him a plate. You know what I'm saying? So the jail politics is a little more different. It's crazy how that decision was made. I don't know why that decision was made. I don't know allegedly why he said La told him to shoot him anyway. You know what I'm saying? But if he would have shot him, it would have created something bad. Something would have came out of that because it just don't sound right? So can old boy be lying just on the stand? You know what I'm saying? Is he lying on that part to make La look different? I mean, I'm just saying it sounds crazy. He said he just couldn't run up on him because it would have created a civil war, right? But then he goes, La tells him, yo, you're going to shoot him. So what you think would have happened had he shot him? You know what I'm saying? Because that would have forced the other individual that he was speaking to push some type of button, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? Yo, son, what happened? What you clapping for? Because then it would have made him look weak in the yard. Yes, boom, yes. Because that was sort of wicked. That was wicked. Like I said, because I know the last time, because when I say certain names, certain individuals, because they're doing the right thing, they don't want their names thrown on the internet. So it's not because I don't like nobody. You know what I'm saying? It's because unless they jump on my chat and be like, yo, Zeke was popping, because dudes are on another path. You know what I'm saying? But y'all know, you know. No, y'all can say his name in the chat. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. Or, you know what I'm saying? That was definitely, we read that comment. That was like sort of wicked. You know what I'm saying? Because you'd have put a man back against the wall. But then it played out to what came to see down the line. Exactly. The politics that played out to certain things, but it's not for me to speak about that on this platform. Let's go.
What happened? I was sitting in the yard playing cards, and he seen me first. He rushed me. We had a fight in the middle of the yard. Did you cut AK? No. Why not? He seen me first. Now you mentioned that you also ordered cuttings. Is that correct? Yes. How many cuttings did you order? One. Who did you order cut? Dynamo. Who is Dynamo? Dynamo was the GF at East Homicide, Brim. And what is East Hom?
This, what you're listening right now to, the Dynamo situation, he fumbled the bag again. He fumbled the bag all the way. Like, I ain't stupid. Let me tell you something. All call-outs are mandatory. You see a plate, you get a plate. That's just mandatory. Like, you went to the yard. What did he go to the yard to? Slapping 5? You know, he was already told like a pit bull. As soon as you see him, it's on sight. See, when it's on sight, SOS, that's not a game. SOS is as soon as he step foot in the yard, get him. It's no let him get to the table, get to you, slap 5 to you, hug you, love you. It's get him. So the dude did what he's supposed to do. Oh, there you go, get it. You know what I'm saying? So he fumbled the pass on that one again. Boom. But the Dynamo situation, definitely salute to the homie who actually stepped up. You know what I'm saying? Is that dude? That's serious. Shoot on sight. You know what I'm saying? That's not a game. You come to the yard, and the funny part was your whole position to come to the yard was to get to him. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Wear your hat to the front. You heard? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? His position was to get to him. So he fumbled the pass on that one. I don't know what he was thinking about in the yard. You already know it's on site. You're looking around all crazy. That's one thing about the burn. Everything is in the yard. You know what I'm saying? I've been to Auburn, but not in population. I've always been in transit. I've always been, you know, on the lower joints in transit. I've been there 3 times going through transit. You know what I'm saying? I've never been in population, but even in population, upstairs I believe is the box, but even in there, dudes be throwing shots at dudes. Yo, such and such, see him in the yard, punch him in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? You would hear all this conversation. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it was like a year you go. I went through transit. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't in population. I was in transit. But needless to say, the Dynamo situation changed a lot of things in the street with the Bentley. That changed a lot. That changed a lot. I'm not going to go up into politics, but you see how a situation in prison was able to affect the street. Exactly. You hear because in a maximum jail, it's not that much movement. So dudes are communicating on the gate. Definitely dudes that's in transit. That's how information flows in prison. S block is what you call Facebook. S block is when you can sit down, you hear everything you need to hear, then you leave there, you go to another spot. Yo, such and such. Yo, such and such is a plate. Yo, such and such, boom, boom, bing, bing. Kites start flying. Don't get it twisted. S block, S block is seriously Facebook. You can become stoned in S block just by listening on the gate. You know what I'm saying? Auburn Transit, dudes on the gate. Yo, Scrap, what's poppin'? Yo, da-da-da. Yo, such and such over here. Yo, such and such over there. This is facts. This is pure facts. You know what I'm saying? If I'm wrong, get here and tell me if I'm wrong. S block, you can physically, because you on the gate. That's how dudes communicate. You know what I'm saying? Now getting back to the content. You talking about Dynamo, blood. Shout out to the Bentley. I heard they back. Salute to the Bentley. But when this happened, it was a lot of transitions. I was in jail when this situation happened. I was in New York State prison. Allegedly.
Homicide, Brim. It was a Brim set. And what led you to order that Dynamo should be cut? because La sent me a kite telling me that Dynamo was no good and the Bentley was on the shelf. So who sent you that kite? La. And what did the kite say? That Dynamo was no good and the Bentley was on the shelf? All right, let's take the second half of that. Did you have an understanding of what La Brim meant when he wrote that the Bentley was on the shelf? East Homicide Brim was faded. What is a Bentley? It was another way to identify East Homicide Brim. And what does on the shelf mean? It was no more. It was parked. It was done. And you said that meant that... I'm sorry. So what does a Bentley on the shelf mean? It means that East Homicide Brim was faded. It was no more. And what else did La Brim say in the kite? He said that Dynamo was no good. Do you have an understanding of what La Brim meant when he said that Dynamo was no good? Yes. What was that? He had to be shot. What does shot mean in this context? Cut. Where did this cutting take place? It took place on the channel in C Block. Where?
Joffrey the Mac.
On the channel.
So heavy on the sleeves, heavy on the sleeves. Joffrey the Mac is in the building. Heavy on the sleeves, you heard? Joffrey, you know we gotta do this. My IG is 7 shout out to the Primes. 7 shout out to, you know what I'm saying? You already know the Bentley, you know, the back, the Maybach, even though the back ain't, you know, the family thing. Definitely peace to the Max. You know, you already know the squad, you know what I'm saying? Squad up the squad, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a good answer, because in the penitentiary, cutting somebody, you don't have to kill them unless it was a super duper, unless you was on a super plate. But they cutting you, like shooting you, like say they make you a plate and you get shot. That was like, yeah, we got him. He's out the way. You know what I'm saying? It was just a way to tell, just to remind you of your atrocities. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. I know I can't even explain that to you. That's some shit that they came up with behind the scenes, and it means something, because when somebody gets shot in the yard, it sort of takes you out of that situation. It's like a DO shoot or something. I don't know. It's like, boom, he got shot. What happened? He ain't in the whip no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest with you, definitely, you know what I'm saying? Definitely. Interview coming soon, Joffrey the Mac. We're gonna do it on StreamYard too, you know what I'm saying? We're doing our, you know what I'm saying? We're giving you, like I told you, the Wolves is back. We're giving y'all, you know what I'm saying? It means something. That's the the clapping thing, that's the Rikers Island thing. Like, I don't know. Like I told you, behind the scenes, I can't tell you, but I just know that everything you heard got shot. Not too many people. When they got shot, there's only like a handful of dudes that got clapped and still was able to maintain who they are. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie to you. Not gonna. Let's get the 80. Joffrey the Mac is in the building. Joffrey's in the building. Definitely What's Your Jacket's in the building. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna touch back that, but there was a change in the streets when the Bentley situation happened. A lot of movements began to change. Now, mind you, you got the newer generation. So you had the young kids that was in the Bentley that started, you know, because of situations, started moving around. So numbers begin to change. Organizations begin to change. You got the Max. The Max is on the go, on the come up. The Hounds is on the come up. Now this is the hip hop scene now. This is the streets of New York now. Because other than the Max and the Hounds, you had the YGs and what's that, the OYGs, whatever they were. They was going in against each other. Like, you know, so that was a big situation. I remember in I think Hunts Point got a whole bunch of YGs over there. You know what I'm saying? Hunts Point, right by where Spofford is at, by Lafayette and all that. So I think there's a lot of YGs over there. My man used to live over there. I think it's YGs over there, because the young boys I was with, they was from like, not the young boys, but the people that was around me, they was from like Cortland Projects. They claimed another gang. You know what I'm saying? That was, but they had YG beef. Like, they beefs was YG beefs back then. But the popular gangs they claimed was like Max and the Hounds. You know what I'm saying? That was and definitely the Blazers.
I'm sorry? Which prison? Auburn. And when was this? 2010. Were you and La Brim in the same place at the same time?
Yes. When I was in the box, 2010, I was in there for 3 months, and I got out in July or August, I believe. When that Dynamo situation happened, I was in S block. The kites flew. I was in S block when I heard about the Dynamo situation. I was in S block. I was in Governor S block.
No. Who did you order to cut Dynamo? The Hound Gritty. Who was Gritty? Gritty was a one-star general. Why did you order Gritty to cut Dynamo instead of doing the cutting yourself? Because Gritty was a one-star general, and Dynamo was we consider him a vet. Couldn't just set anybody at him. Had to be somebody who knew what they was doing. When you say Dynamo was a vet, what do you mean? You've been in blood for a lot of years. Did Gritty cut Dynamo? Yes. Were you able to observe what happened? Yes. Where were you? I was in my cell. And what happened? They was walking past the channel. Gritty went behind him. He cut him from the back. And the other hound that was with Gritty, when Dynamo turned around, he tried to cut Gritty back. And the other hound that was with Gritty, he swung on Dynamo, and they all started fighting. I want to show you what's marked Government 33. Do you recognize this? Yes. Who is it? It's Dynamo. The government offers Government 33. No objection. No objection. Government Exhibit 33 is received. Can you point out, can you see in this photograph where Dynamo was cut? Yes. Can you point out where that is? I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. Why did you agree to cut AK and to order that Dynamo should be cut for Brim? Because that's what I got ordered to do. Did you have an understanding of what would happen if you had refused to do that? Yeah. What? I would become a plate. Did you personally benefit from doing these cuttings? Yes. How? Reputation. And I moved up in the ladder on the chain of command. Why did you want a higher position on the chain of command? Because I got tired of taking orders. When you were in state prison, did you ever pass along messages about cuttings?
Rest in peace to Net. So I was in jail 2010. Those politics was crazy. I remember when that happened. A lot of things happened, but I can't touch on those because it's all allegations and things change in the street. And there's a lot of people just fighting for their freedom to come home. The thing that's touching, right, is that the new pop culture. So now you come home to the streets, you got the young boys. The music is changing. They're playing Chief Keef in the club. What's that girl, Young May? She's popping. French Montana, he has a song. Right? Yeah. What's the young guy? What's the guy who's on that song with French Montana? He's locked up though now. The Puerto Rican guy, the Spanish guy. I'm a baller in the shot caller. These guys is moving. Corey Guns is moving. The machine was moving. The streets, but these are the streets now. Now when you go to the club, you have Charlie Rock. Now when you go to the club, these are the new young boys. But they're representing. Yo, homie was popping. Exactly, Charlie Rock. I met Charlie Rock. As crazy as it sounds, I was at a show with Charlie Rock. He was performing with with Corey Guns at Webster Hall. I was with Velly MMB. Velly was doing a show. And it was a show with a bunch of Queens cats. And then we shout out to the mac and cheese. And Royal Flush performed, Mike Geronimo performed, Mr. Cheeks performed, Corey Lasky pulled up. No, don't say no, you know what I'm saying? Corey pulled up, Mark Lashley, not Mark, my man Chopper Brother pulled up, you know what I'm saying? And H Money Bags was there, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I was there. Charlie Rock was performing with Corey Guns. Charlie Rock, that's it. So the streets was changing. Now you got dudes doing the YG, but some of them are double banging. So now it depends on what set you playing. So now you in the club, you got the Max. You in there with the YGs, you in there with the YGs, or like I said, the 1090s. All those little cliques that was cashing checks and going crazy and spinning blocks, listening to Sosa and all this, wind up transitioning. We're talking about a lot, not just them. Because in Brooklyn, you had the Hood Stars, remember? In the Wave Gang. That was the young boys in one section. You had other sections that was losing their mind in Brooklyn. But that was a major situation. And now these gangs, these little young boys that's double banging, some of us folks, Crips, whatever the case may be, they're becoming what's considered New York drill. They've created their own culture. Their own dancing. If you go back to 05, 06, these young boys will always do videos dancing and they're just dancing around. But nobody paid them no mind because it's like these young boys with all this tight joints and these young boys is killing each other. These are the young boys. And they found the music that they could attach themselves to, which happened to be that Chicago sound. But these gang issues is what made a lot of separations. So now these young boys' brothers is caught up in these situations and cousins. And remember, gang culture really blew in New York. It took over. You know what I'm saying? And it began to take over. I'm going to show you a video. Debbie Shoutouts on man, AK, Mafia. I get to the part where and no, I do not want to try to Mac interview just in case he might assume I want that. We're just going to deal with we're going to deal with what's the due diligence. I'm just mentioning the situation. Hold on. Alright, this is the video right here, party people. This is when hold on. There you go. I'm gonna show you this is little Freddie. He was in the video. This is somebody, yo. Some of y'all might know. You know what I'm saying? I was in 5 Points with him. When I was in 5 Points, I was in Cape Vince with him. We were well versed. He was bounty hunter, but he had left his hood situation because of politics. I got that picture, man. I would hate to do that picture again. I got the picture, man. This is when China Mac did the video on I think in Harlem. That's little Freddie with the red jacket on. You see with the red jacket on? That's we call him Freddie. We called him Freddie Krueger in Cape Vincent. He'd be uptown by Idlewild and all that on. He'd be on White Plains Road by I call it the Gully side, the 200s. But that's little Freddie Krueger. I was with him in 5 Points. When he told me he jumped in the Hound whip, allegedly, he told me this at parole. You know what I'm saying? You hear me? That's little Freddie Krueger. That's little Freddie. That's my new Freddie was rapping. He's in the China Mac video 0 to 100 freestyle. That's Little Freddie right there. That's who I know. You know what I'm saying? He was in the video. Now listen, he's in the video with La Brim. He's clearly in the video with him, right? This is La Brim in the video. This is La Brim in the video. You know what I'm saying? This video went crazy. Yes, Little Freddie right there with the red hoodie on. You know what I'm saying? I'm just showing you receipts because sometimes you got to show people the receipts. I know Little Freddie. That's why I mentioned something one time. Yo, go ask Freddy Krueger. That's what we call him. I don't know what they call him as being Hound. The last I knew, he did a rap video in Edinburgh. He's trying to get his hip hop on. Hopefully, Little Freddie ain't locked up. But he was definitely running with La Brim. He was running with La. That's Little Freddie right there. You know what I'm saying? That's Little Freddie with the red hat, with the red hoodie on. Y'all see him? That's Little Freddie, man. He was running around with La. I hope Little Freddie's alive. We call him Freddy Krueger. I hope he's still alive. You know what I'm saying? That's Little. You feel me? That's who I know. So China Mac, that's who I know. If Little Freddie's still alive, that's him right there. You see him right there, Little Freddie, little Jamaican Freddie from uptown. I was in Cape Vince with me, him, Velly, when we was spinning that yard. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You call him and go, yo, Zeke Black. Oh yeah, Zeke Black. That's the hat. Yeah. He was claiming Outlaw 20 Brim. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Facts. Oh, y'all call him Ox. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you may call him. You call him right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you from experience, party people. I know, but I spent the yard with him. You know what I'm saying? I spent the yard with him. You know what I'm saying? Me, him, Velly, Ice, Brim. I think Ice is Mac Baller now. He running around with the runaround. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing this because you have to drop receipts in as well. You have to drop receipts in as well. Definitely salute to my man doing the right thing. He got a barbershop now, my man, Millionaire Cali from Harlem, Edgecombe. Can't forget about my man, Millionaire Harlem, you know what I'm saying? Cali, Edgecombe. Salute to him, you know what I'm saying? Doing the necessaries, you know what I'm saying? So this is when China Mac was doing his Red Army, his Red Army Records thing. So La Brim was trying to get into the music thing. This is before this guy took it to the top. But this Red Money Media, he only had 500 subs. So they was trying to do their music thing. He only had 500 subs. But now China Mac got over 100,000 on his page. This is when he first came. This is one of the times when China Mac first came home. What put me on to him was the La Brim joint. You know what I'm saying? I said, oh, they go Freddie, because I seen Freddie doing the music thing. Like, yo, check this out. And it blew without me seeing it, but that's the first time I seen it. Just touching on the touch on. You know what I'm saying? That's who I know. You know what I mean? So when I say something, I'm saying it for a reason. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I didn't play the music because I didn't play the music because I don't want to get my channel zapped. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna get zapped. But so don't think I didn't play your music because I don't like you or I'm not jacking you. But I didn't play the music because you know how this YouTube thing works. So that's just one receipt right there. I gotta show you receipts before I go. I hate having to drop the receipts, but I have to give y'all a clear indication what I'm speaking about. You know what I'm saying? Let's just give you let's give you an incline of what I'm speaking about. Definitely salute the P Unstricken mentality in Clubhouse. Follow him. He's all about moving the hip hop culture forward. It may seem like a New York page, but it's a culture page. Definitely shout out to P Unstricken mentality in Clubhouse. My man, God the King. Salute the God the King from Unstricken mentality. You know, it's definitely shout out to Push That Knife Clubhouse. You know what I'm saying? Tiff and them, Tiff, Iced Out and them, Tierra, Joy. You know what I'm saying? You know the squad from Stricken Mentality as well. You know what I'm saying? The family. You know what I'm saying? Heisenberg, Bravo, T-Tone from YTC, he be in the room. I'm saying, so definitely check out, T-Tone, Info Minds, Unstricted Mentality. Definitely shout out to Jacob out there from Harlem, OG Jacob from Harlem, Stack City Zoe, Definitely shout out to the Towers, But you have to show the receipts. Definitely shout out to my man Dave Bing out there from 118th, He's showing his love to me. Definitely shout out to Dave Bing from 118th and something, you heard? The back blocks. You talking about the back blocks? I'm gonna show you something. Definitely, if y'all see him, man, if y'all see, I call him Freddy Krueger, but you know what I'm saying? Y'all see Ox, where y'all call him, sometimes he sends his unconditional love. You heard? Last time I knew, he sent me a rap view. He was rapping. You know what I'm saying? But Joppy's in the chat. He's vibing. That's what I'm talking about. He's vibing. He's doing what we're supposed to do. Vibe. You know what I'm saying? Have nothing but love for you, baby. If you got time, check out my interview with Yambo. I got a dope interview with him, man. Check him out, man. Hip hop since 1978. Check him out. It's a dope interview, man. Me and him and Saladin did an interview with him. I did an interview with him. Check it out. It's on the platform. Check out also I interviewed Saigon. Check out Saigon's interview. You know what I'm saying? He you know what I'm saying? It was a great interview. Check it's content. We're giving you the content. We're giving you content. We're feeding the people. You know what I'm saying? Now, look how crazy does this sound. I don't meet Hassan Campbell unless I know Uptown. You see how, so all gang, all y'all say is gang. Sometimes these meet and greets, you'd be surprised. Listen, China Mac, look what he had now. But he was in the crevices trying to do his music thing, and he went hard. But I ain't gonna fuck, when he first was doing it, you see a lot of Brim, they got the jackets on. It's cold outside. They had, back then, that's when they had the big boys. Remember the North Face big boys? They still got them though, but the big boy, that was big boy season. Definitely follow my man Malave with the wide tail clothing line, you know what I'm saying? You got the wide tail for you know what I'm saying? You want to order, just hit him on IG, wide tail. Me and Malave was locked up in the early 90s together, you know what I'm saying? Just definitely shout out to the BX. Definitely shout out to Wifey Southern Belle, you heard? This is Dave Bing. I bought his hoodie. I support the people, man. Shout out to, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. That's me right there in the BX. See, feed the wolves. It's not about Zeke Black, man. It's not about me, man. I'm trying to show you a receipt. I don't want to get lost in the conversation. Shout out to my cousin Pasha, my man Hakeem Ford. You know what I'm saying? My man Ha. Showing the receipt. It was a time in the streets at the time. That's why I give it a vibe. I gotta give it a vibe. I'm almost there, party people. This is me and Remy Ma's son, somewhere on the South Jamaica side of Queens. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to his crew that be right there. Shout out to the boys from Woodhall. You know what I'm saying? On the South. That's me and Remy Ma's sons. That's salute to Remy. You know what I'm saying? Remy Ma. I got a lot of pictures, man. I'm gonna show you something about the vibe. See, I don't have to clout chase because I already know I'm somewhat the clout. I just don't have a record deal. I'm not on TV. Look how crazy. And this is what we mean. And this is what we mean about how easy to get somebody not touched. Somebody knows somebody. Yo, son, get the drop. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that about China Mac, I'm saying in general. You guys gotta be very careful how you dudes move around here. You say, oh, I know, son. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, I come from a generation that rock you to sleep. So what happens is I'll call a nigga, and he don't even know that me and you got beef. Yo, son, yeah. Yo, I see you with son. Yeah, son, be on 180. What? No doubt. Yeah, son, mad cool, son. I thought I seen him on 180th and Daily. Nah, son. He be in them big buildings, the tall buildings across the street by the supermarket. What? He be with such and such. Say no more. That's how dudes get the drop. Every drop ain't, yo, I got beef with son, and that's all that internet shit. Yo, I got beef with such and such, and get the drop. That's not how they do that. You know what I'm saying? The drop is old. And see, the social networks That's make it easier oh, I know son. Let me holler at son fast. When we say yo son, yeah, we start a long bullshit conversation to get to the get down. Oh, I seen you in the flick with Mo. Oh yeah, Mo, that's my man. Yo, I be saying Mo. Yeah, son be in Queens. Word, I didn't know that shit, son. I be in Queens too. That's I'm trying to get next to him. Now, yeah, son, don't tell nobody, but he be right there on something. What? Yeah, but such and such. You know, once you get your intel, that's when you start, yo, boom, get it. So a lot of you dudes gotta be smart, man. Stop thinking that y'all got 1,000 dudes in your videos and dudes can't get next to you in a simple conversation. Just torture something one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't even talk none of you these guys that. And the nigga who get an intel doesn't even know he gave it intel. You know what I'm saying? That's a simple conversation. You know what I'm saying? Let me get to the get down. Almost there, man. Shout out to my man Ja. You know Ja. Shout out to Ja. That's my guy. Shout out to Ja. My man Ja from the South Side. You heard? Rest in peace, Scar. Valentine Scar. You know what I'm saying? That's my man Ja from the South. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just loved by, I get along with a bunch of people, you know what I'm saying? My man Fred, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know Fred, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Fred, you heard? Shout out to Queensbridge. So I'm giving you from my perspective, what I think moved into the drill scene. Yours could be different. That's just how I look at it. I'm not stating 100% facts because I wasn't running around the streets. I'm just telling you what I think and what I feel. Doesn't matter how you might look at it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I can learn something in your conversation. Let me get there. One old name was real popular when I was locked up, though, was Bling Blau. This is Bling Blau, right? He was real popular. When I was locked up, I believe he passed away. I ain't gonna front. A lot of dudes was sad in the yard when this man passed away. You know what I'm saying? I never had a chance to meet him, but his name was in, I ain't gonna front. Dudes was talking the high graces of this man right here, Bling Blau. You know what I'm saying? Or they call him Bing Blau, Bling Blau. Yeah, this guy was a popular guy. Shout out to the max. You know what I'm saying? He was very popular. You know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes, not just like he knew a lot of individuals. You know what I'm saying? You know, you already know what it is. We already know the vibes. You know what I'm saying? We know the vibes. You heard? You know what I'm saying? We know the vibes. You know what I'm saying? We know the vibes, man. Hell yeah, we know the vibes, man. You know what I'm saying? We do this for the people, man. I was in 5. I actually took this picture, believe it or not. I actually took the picture. You know what I'm saying? I seen him going to the 5 train on Baychester. Y'all know what this is. Y'all know the vibe, man. If you in tune, you know who that man is right there. You know what I'm saying? And that was like 2000. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We was in 5 Points together. That's where I met him at. We was in 5 Points. And if you know, you know. If you know who that man is, you know who that man is. You know what I'm saying? I'm almost there, party people. To the dirty receipts. Yeah, yo, a lot of dudes are sad, you know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes are sad. And that's when, you know what I'm saying, he affected a lot of people. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of dudes were sad in that yard, man. I never had a chance to meet him, but they had so many good stories to say about him, you know what I'm saying? I'm not, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? I never had a chance to meet the man. But he was pretty popular, pretty popular. Now, here go the receipts. When this era we're talking about, these are the guys that was like outside with the West Side thing, you know what I'm saying? They're actually in California when they took this picture. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? They was in California, but they're from the East Coast. These are around those years. Here go the receipts. This is my man. He's Brim, but he was in the outlaw hood. You know what I'm saying? In California, on the East Side. He was on the East Side of LA when he took this picture. He's from New York, though. You know what I'm saying? These are the receipts, because in those years, the streets was changing, like the Bop situation and a lot of other situations. Now remember the guy I showed that passed away? This is Uptown. This is where we was at. Shout out to Allen. Rest in peace to Allen. He used to be over there. If you know who's in the picture, you know. One of the big Billies is in this. You know what I'm saying? Over there with Uptown, Fatso, and she's prime. The one right standing right there, she prime time. You know what I'm saying? We was on Garfield in the Bronx. These are receipts. I'm showing you some receipts. It's in the Bronx and Garfield and Tremont, where the post office is at. You know what I'm saying? That block, I think, it had mad Crips on it. You know what I'm saying? So I think there was mad Crips over there. That's me and this is me and you know what this is, man. Sport Low. Shout out to Sport Low. It's me and Sport Low. We at the Juice Crew All Stars concert. You know what I'm saying? Debbie, shout out to Sport Low. So I have to show you some of the receipts. So the receipts to make sense. This is my other man. He pulled us to the east side of LA. My man Shine. It's California, but Shine from New York. You know what I'm saying? That's him pulling up in the east. You know what I'm saying? The east side of LA. You know what I'm saying? So dudes from New York was going to California way before a lot of other dudes had a chance to take that trip to those hoods. You know what I'm saying? It's me and my man Marley on 151st Street subway station. My man Marley from the GM family. He does construction. He does construction now. He's actually in the union. I seen him at the train station. My man Marley from the GM family. You know what I'm saying? From Queens. The infamous OG crew from the north side. That's him. One of the Glenn and Marley family. GM. Glenn and Marley. Shout out to my man Marley. We bumped heads of him getting off of work. You know what I'm saying? He has a great job. He does construction. When I met him that day, when I seen him that day, I think he was fixing to do, they were building bridges. They building bridges and all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? That's dope for somebody who was in the street, caught a fed charge, came home, got in the union, and now he's doing construction. You know what I'm saying? He's doing great for himself. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to show the receipts. So I'm just giving y'all the picture of what was going on around that time. And I was outside for that. It was a new thing though. It's crazy. The streets shifted, they changed. And like I said, man, you know, for all that they say bad about Locke, negatively, he was trying to do the music thing though. Y'all seen him in the video with China Mac. He was running around with P Gutter. They had that Jet Blue situation. That was like some music shit. They tried to do the music thing. China Mac was a part of the whole way. It's just that live was still, some weird reason, him in the streets. His name was just too much shit in the street. It ran its course. You know what I'm saying? Let me go. I'm on here too long. I'm about to get off. I don't want to be on this shit too long. Now my boy Busy. I'll probably find through this shit. Yeah, definitely, we in the building, man. Definitely salute to everybody that pulled up. If you would like to donate to the United Nigga Fund, y'all can. You know, twos and fews, whatever you know what I'm saying, whatever you like to donate to the United Nigga Fund. You know what I'm saying? If you like to donate to United Nigga Fund, you can. I'm gonna put it in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Your twos and fews, whatever you have to offer to the cause. You know what I'm saying? We do this for the cause, not be cause. And the slander, as crazy as it sounds, it's not even the slander campaign against Debbie. Shout out to Valenzuela's back with Valenzuela. He's back. The trolls in the building. Shout out to Valenzuela. You was gone from the scene for a couple of days, Valley, but you're back. That's the troll's troll. That's my guy. Got some love for Valenzuela, you know what I'm saying? His trolling is impeccable. The troll's troll, you know what I'm saying? He wake up trolling. Impeccable. That's my guy, though. But one thing I like about him is that he chose you respectively. You know what I'm saying? Whoever would like to donate to you to the United Nigger Fund, y'all can. I'm gonna put the cash app up. If you see a female face, it's all right. It's all good. It's all good. It's good. It's good. It's good. Gotcha. You got a part 2 and a part 3 coming out too. You know what I'm saying? So let's stay tuned. We got the part 2, part 3 coming out. The United Nigger Fund is up. You know what I'm saying? For all you guys that can donate to United Nigger Fund, we in the building. It's okay. Twos and fews is accepted. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's all right. Let's get to that 90 before I log off. But let me get to this joint. I'm trying to get us to the joint, party people. I brought you some content. That's what we're doing. Definitely salute to the 050, the movement, the Glico. Everything heavy on the Glico. You know what I'm saying? Go support. They made a video today about Hassan. That's great. They going at it again. It's a heavy hitter weekend. Hassan versus the movement. This is crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's back. It's dark side versus the dirty side. It's insane right now. They both going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? So definitely the movement is moving. You know what I'm saying? And they moving over there. You know what I'm saying? Hassan can do some shots. He threw some shots yesterday. He threw some shots, some heavy shots. So the guns is out. The guns are bang bang. You know what I'm saying? That's that side of, you know what I'm saying? That's that side of YouTube. You heard? Let me get back to the get back. Now, let me get to this picture. Okay, let's get back to the get back. Let's look at this picture, man. 'Cause the picture says a lot. The picture is going to say. It's a disco baller when he was snatching chains and all that. You know what I'm saying? This is disco baller when he was snatching chains and taking pockets. Act like a Brooklyn nigga, you know what I'm saying? He's been with a couple of good Queens rappers back then. It's disco, man. It's a little disco right here, you know what I'm saying? Disco was jumping niggas in Sparkle. It's a disco baller in the Bronx, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to disco. That's young disco, man. You know what I'm saying? That's young disco baller. That's the baller's baller, you heard? Yeah, that's when disco was digging pockets, snatching chains, and chasing niggas on the block with 12 wolves. He was chasing niggas all through Pelham Bay. Pelham Bay and Riverdale. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's young disco. We all was a young disco. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's young disco. I gotta get to the picture. This is when I was up north. I was with the Rude Boy. That's the Cape Vincent days, you know what I'm saying? It's my nigga right here, man. Here it is. It's me, Busy, and another homie. We was doing a moving job. This is crazy. On 193rd and Marion's, one of them side blocks. No, but what's that block, man? It's a dangerous block up there by Marion. It's a side block. We was doing a move right over there. You know what I'm saying? So we was doing a move. It was a big truck move. It's one of them big joints. That's Busy and the homie. They used to be right there by Daly Avenue. They was doing a move for me. So definitely that was those years. The reason I showed the picture for, because those are the years that I was going to Daly Avenue, go hang out with them sometimes, go hang out with Busy sometimes on Daly 180. You know what I'm saying? And they mentioned the courtyards in the back, and in the mix of that, there was a situation between the Max and the Hounds. It just got crazy around those years. If you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, we have a part 2 coming out tomorrow morning. We're gonna get where we need to go. If I said anything wrong, leave it in my comments. If I was disrespectful or I disrespected anybody in any type of way, I think I'm talking about journalism. It's not about how I personally feel. Certain names I'll keep out because they may not want their name said on my platform. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I know some people are doing the right thing, and you don't want to get mixed up in that. But if you guys say it in the comments and you say it respectfully, hey, you can keep it there and say what you're going to say. You know what I mean? I'm just being respectful. I'm respecting the respected. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the show. I enjoyed it. There's a lot of knowledgeable and understanding. I gave you some. I'm doing this when they say something. I'm gonna show you what was going on in those territories. For you guys that's not from the United States of America, when you ask about Parchester, they're gonna say some people may say condominiums, but there's side blocks that's dangerous in Parchester. And you got some side blocks that got some of the Bugattis, allegedly. You got some Crips, you got all type of things in that area. Because once you leave Parchester, you're going into, what's that little area? That's by, how do they call that? That shit by 180th. Right by where the police station's at. When you go to them side blocks, that's an area in the Bronx. That where the police station at, the train station 180th, not where the shelters at, where those neighborhood 20s used to be at, the homies on that little side block. You know what I'm saying? Don Rico's in the building, salute. Not where the shelter was at. Come on, going the other way, where the police station's at on 180th in the Bronx. And you going up, you go in, there's a neighborhood, I think something Nest. There's an area over there. You know what I'm saying? Right across the street from the train station. So it's something Nest. I know it's that little area. So when you leave Parchester, you're running right into like that little area. And you're going up to it. Yeah, Van Ness. Yes. You know exactly. That's that little area where you're leaving Parchester. Parchester got a lot of side blocks. Where that blue bridge is at, when you cross with that blue bridge, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not from the Bronx, so, you know what I'm saying? Van Ness, yes, Van Ness. You go right into the Van Ness territories. That's what I remember, yeah? You know what I'm saying? That goes into those territories. Van Ness is, as crazy as it sounds, it's a little mixy. Get some more, but remember, those territories fall into, Morris Park area. You got the Pelham Bay area, you got the Morris Park area. A lot of Albanians, a lot of Italians. You gotta know those parts of the Bronx is dangerous. As quiet in private houses, you got a lot of, you just can't be running around Morris Park. You can't just be running around. To this day, you just can't be running around. There's a lot of Albanians up there. They've been up there. The Albanians and the Italians, and there's a whole bunch of that up there. But you have to be up there to understand that. You know what I'm saying? I remember living up there and seeing all that. It's a separate way. You got the blacks and Puerto Ricans, and you go this way, you got Albanians and Italians. You know what I'm saying? Just turn. Take the wrong turn. Yeah, Belmont get busy. But you get killed, exactly. In that part of the Bronx. Exactly, it's crazy. Unionport Road, yes. They got the things, the silver things against, Unionport Road, facts. That's Parchester when you go the other way, right? Those side blocks. So for you guys that's not from New York or United States of America, you may ask me, what's Parchester? You're going to see now condominiums. No, there's side blocks too. There's also side blocks. You know what I'm saying? Because now I have to give you a description because I'm just not speaking to New Yorkers no more. I'm speaking to people that's not from New York. So they don't know what I'm talking about. So I break down the geographics. So you speak to somebody from New York, they give you okay, so Parchester by Van Ness, yes, boom. So it's all Parchester condominiums? No. You got side blocks, you know what I'm saying? And the side blocks is just as dangerous. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of little gangs and cliques, the tenement buildings. There are a lot of private houses. It's like Drosnick. You got Drosnick projects, and then across the street you got mad private houses. There's mad Puerto Ricans over there. But then when you think about Drosnick, you don't know that there's a portion of Drosnick that got mad Italians. You know what I'm saying? Just like where that Trump golf course is at, that right by the Drosnick Bridge, those private houses on the side of the wall, it's mad Spanish cats. You want to find your employer, go find them over there allegedly. They're all right behind that golf course. Trump has a golf course in New York City. Can't make this shit up. It was wasted land. They found a way to clean the dirt up and build a golf course. You're the Thrice Neck Bridge, you see it. The Thrice Neck Bridge on the Bronx side is Trump's golf course on the tip of the water. Behind that is mad homes, mad Puerto Ricans, mad, not just Dominicans, mad Spanish cats live on the other side of that wall. You got blacks over there too, but it's mad Spanish cats right by the Thrice Neck Bridge. You know, I'm gonna send you to the barbershop. You're gonna send you to get a Caesar. Actually, I'm gonna send you to Jersey, not to get a jersey, but I'm gonna send you to Jersey to get a Caesar. You heard? He gonna cut you up real good. You know what I'm saying? To send him to the barbershop. He needed that. He needed a cut. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, we're not promoting slander on nobody, slaying my personal feelings about somebody. Will not be included in the content no more. Like before, I was just all type of slang and slander because I believe that I can tell a message without throwing slander on somebody's name, and it can be heard. Salute, East Side of town. Shout out to East Harlem, West Side, West Harlem. I believe I could tell a story without being disrespectful. So I went into the Rest in Peace Island. It was bad with the baby situation. Redbone, that was her peoples. Salute the Redbone, the Billy, the ex-Billy. Definitely that was her peoples. His little brother. Don't say the good people, that's the peoples. He got caught up in something over there, and that's what it touched into what he said when Sunday said he got shot in Parkchester. So we're just breaking down the breakdown about these territories and these neighborhoods. This is post Bambino gang. This is post Pop Smoke getting slapped by the young boy Chico and on YouTube. This is all Rest in Peace of Pop Smoke. This is all post this shit. Wave Gang and Hood Stars and son getting shot in the face and the feds free the Mac. That shit happened to him in the Ville. The rap guy, I'm not gonna mention his name. He got shot in the face. This is post all this. This is falling into that. A new wave of hip hop in the streets of New York. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, not on slang and slander, but bringing that to that time. Like, oh, shit, I know that shit happened. Oh, shit, oh. But that shit happened with Chico. Chico got killed by the detective and all that stuff. But that neighborhood that Chico's from, there was a gang called the Outlaws. Now, I thought they was the Outlaw Homies, like the 50s or something. He was like in the 50s or the 60s in Flatbush, whatever that is. But this was a gang. He was losing their mind. I think Chico, rest in peace, little Chico, a lot of people thought that he was, you know what I'm saying? He got killed by a cop. He shot the shit out with the cops. So rest in peace to Chico. He died. I don't know who about the kid who got slapped up in the store by Pop Smoke, but I just remember when that happened. I'm gonna give you those years when this was going on. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So we're just giving you just a clear picture of what was going on in New York. With that being said, I appreciate y'all. I love Southern Belle. I love you. Definitely salute to my supporters. No Dog Soldier, Net Stars, Money D, Cam Stone. You know what I'm saying? Go check out Cam Stones. The 05 voter movement. He was in the building. Mac Mean was in the building. Salute to Mac Mean. We here. The movement is moving. Shout out to, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. The movement is moving. Definitely shout out to my son-in-law, Scoop Doggy Dog. You know what I'm saying? Definitely shout out to the west side of St. Louis in the state of Missouri. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can clear this. We appreciate y'all. I'm happy for all those that pulled up this morning. We got part 2 coming tomorrow. Salute to What's You Jacking? Behind the scenes. Debbie shout out to Lincoln Projects on the east side. Facts. They shout out to AK Projects. Jackie Robinson. Wagner. Taino. Yeah, facts. We here. Definitely. We here. We here, party people. Definitely. You know, I'm an east side representative for real. Shout out to Nene. Shout out to Smiley. Shout out to Redhead Jerry, 112th Street. And Lex, 2nd Avenue and all that. Shout out to Rest in Peace Razo. PT 131. You know what I'm saying? Shoot definitely Ed Medina, Gabby Medina, Abby Uno, Wiggs from Wash, Chola from Wash, Doc, Joe from TDO, Metro. Jefferson houses, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jeff Moore, 115, rest in peace, Black Rob, rest in peace, Big Joe. We here, man. Alan Lord was popping. See, Blizzy's still here. I'm in the building. Salute to all the wolves, man. We got part 2 coming out. Pay attention, because it's a time as these documents is talking about a change in the streets of New York. So as they talk about these situations in jail, it's changing things in the street. Think about this. The Bentley's faded. What you think happened in the streets? When you fade, you know what I'm saying? Not saying nobody died, but just in those situations, the fading of a hood creates civil wars in certain blocks. 118 from Morningside Avenue, you already know. You know what I'm saying? Definitely rest in peace to my sister-in-law, Tawana. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Tawana. 118 from Manhattan Avenue. 118 from Morningside. You know what I'm saying? You already know, man. We in the building, man. Definitely shout out to my man Ron Brooks out there. Mr. White Bills from Foster. You know what I'm saying? FEB. Shout out to my man Mad Jack. Shout out to my man Mad Jack from FTW, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man D from 115. He lives on my block too, though. Don't get it twisted on Lex, but he from Tab 2, 115, my man D Murder. Shout out to my man Don Murder from the jungle. Yo, we gotta go. We gotta go. We definitely gotta go. Keep good energy. Keep positive energy. You get your point across. You don't have to be disrespectful. You tell me something, I don't listen, you remind me. If I don't listen again, sometimes you gotta walk away from that. Not walk away from that, but listen, man, relax. It takes 5 minutes to listen. It takes 5 minutes to listen, man. We're not gonna see eye to eye on everything. So your job, my job is not to convince somebody to see it our way. When we say something that we think is sensible, they see it as sensible, let's meet halfway. We can't. There's no sense in arguing about nothing, creating nothing. You can't be wrong and try to make a wrong or right. You cannot. I don't know, a lot of you guys come from the Smack DVD era. You're watching too many videos. No disrespect to Smack. You're watching these videos and then a lot of you guys are trying to become these personalities that they show. Everything gotta be tough. Every call out gotta be called out. Every call out is not mandatory. Every call, every miscommunication situation does not mean that they'll argue for 20, 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a cloth thing. If we argue with the murder rate being at 2,000, 3,000, some of these cities that got guns, you say the murder rate is up. 500 people died, 300 people, the city's dangerous. We lived in a city at one point that was at 2,000 a year. And we found the way, some of us, to create peace. Not find peace, but create peace. What's going to keep peace in the neighborhood? Yo, let's play football against them on First Street. Yo, let's play them in baseball. Yo, I got this team we're putting together. We're gonna play Carver Saturday in Big Park. We began to create friendships. The older G's in our neighborhood was creating us to create friendships with the young G's. They didn't do it by design. It was just not. If we can get along, let's get the young boys to get along. And that's why we wasn't so much killing ourselves. People died in our community. Don't get it twisted. Things happen, but most of us are friends. How many of you guys can walk from? I could walk from Wagner Projects and walk all the way through the East Side, and nothing happens to me. Not because I'm tough or I laid something down. Not because of that. Because how do you know? Yo, Zeke, what's up? I know from the boys club. Yo, Zeke, what's up? I know him from playing football. Yo, Zeke, what's up? I know him from playing softball. Yo, Zeke, what's going on? Yo, son, what's up, man? The last time I seen you, you was doing the $100 million dash at the football field. That's how we know each other. Dudes that had beef can't go nowhere. That was always the rule. That was always the rule. I don't want to run around with somebody who had all the smoke in the world. That was the rule. What you think, that was brand new that somebody walks around with 2-3 dudes because somebody with their head? That wasn't cool. That's how we knew each other in my community. I go on First Street and bug out with them. Yo, what's up? I did that. Some of you dudes can't go 2 blocks down because of your gang affiliations. Because the work you're putting in, that's senseless. If you're part of a gang and it shows, well, the gang across the street just got faded up north, and they tell you, yo, to kite this food, I'm going to put it in, you have a decision to make. My life is healthy. Are you going to retire? Or are you going to go, I got to stay loyal to the gang, I'll say for the good and bad? Or are you going to risk it all? You got to make decisions so then you don't have to tell a story. So you don't have to do all this crazy shit, bro. I'm telling you what kept my block together. Because the older guys on my block, we would play football in a small parking lot. That means my generation got along because what we did was we talked sports. You talk sports all day. No matter how many people we may have allegedly mugged and dug pockets and chased around and jumped in a house party. When we came to the block, yo, I got a football. Let's play football. So we found ways to keep our youth out of trouble. My friend Tyree, this is a true story before I go, I want to talk you to death. Tyree has an idea. Because in my neighborhood, you had to buy your own bats from Moore's Toilet. You had to buy your own softballs from Toilet. Definitely salute. We had to do this shit out of our pockets. There wasn't no boys club to do this shit. There was no, not many boys, there was no non-profit that was dropping off baseball bats and gloves. We was physically buying gloves with our money. If you packed bags, you bought some gloves. Mommy, I want some gloves. You went to Moore's Toyland or wherever you went. Woolworth, you went somewhere to get a glove. Your friends had extra baseball gloves. These is hood niggas. Go to your friend's house, what we doing? We're playing softball today. We didn't have a league. We created a league. Tab Projects, I was playing with some of the best gangsters, some of the gangsters y'all talking about. We come outside, yo, Little Ralph, hey, that nigga Ralph, we gangsters, Little Ralph, hey, Chris on the first floor, yo, come out, come down, yo. We playing softball today. And we'll play all day in Big Park. Some of y'all know Big Park is being Angel Dust City, Water City. But before all that, we be playing skellies. Poor kids, we created games. We created peace. Can y'all do that? Create peace. I was talking to my cousin the other day, like, damn, I remember dudes would leave the block. Yo, we went in the full court. Tab Projects had basketball courts where there's garbage cans at. We'll be out there playing 20 games in full courts all day. We'll be playing baseball all day. So you still had the gangs. What you think, Zulu wasn't around, Down Boys wasn't around? You think all that shit wasn't around? The Spanish niggas and all that, they were still there. But we still found time to not be on gang time. Because we didn't have all that beef. Now, do y'all understand what I'm saying? My man Tyree, Pete Blunt, Little Lindell, Kwaku, Redhead Nelson, forgot son name with the funny cork, whatever, the funny ass head, Spanish nigga. Shout out to him, man. True story. And Anthony Winston, little Anthony Winston, short Anthony Winston, can't forget, gotta give me accolades. Now these guys was going to school, doing all the right things. Someone was on the streets and whatever case may be. But so one day we were in the park, we're playing wiffle ball. Poor kids, some of us is poor kids, some of our, not all of us, but some of our parents was getting high. Who knows? 4 buildings, Lexington Projects. We're playing. Charlie comes up with an idea. We had a back park that had a little gate that was like a back field, right by the community center, right by 110. I live in 1536. Tyree goes, yo, I am going to create a wiffle ball league, and we're going to keep stats. And we're going to do a draft to this wiffle ball league. This is 1983? 84, 85, 1885. Tyree don't get this money from a community center. He's not getting no money from a non-profit. There was no that all that save the thing, all that good that. He has an idea. He takes whatever money he had and bought some wiffle balls and wiffle bats, and he created Ty Bless. We had a draft in the projects. Now, mind you, some of us is at that age. We 12, we 13, 12, 11, 12. On the corner, you had the older Puerto Ricans that was like, you can't be over here with us. Salute to Superman Ed for that. Salute to him. You couldn't hang out with the OGs on the corner. That wasn't happening. I wasn't hanging out with Tommy and them and Jim Bone and them. That wasn't happening. You just couldn't sit on the corner and watch what they was doing. Get your ass in the back. Y'all can't be out here. They chase us off the corner. Shout out to my man June, Kevin Janito and all them, man. Green Eye Mike and all them. True story I'm telling you right here. Tommy wasn't a gang banger. He wasn't influenced by a gang. He wasn't known for no gang activity. He wasn't known to be a drug dealer, a gun buster, a shooter. Tyree played sports. He had us watching college football. You know what I'm saying? He loved the University of Miami. Back to the story. The inspiration, not the guy that was hustling, the guy that was just a smart kid, had a great idea. And we had a draft. He had dudes that when we didn't play sports, we was jumping dudes 4 blocks down. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about us was, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know, I'm not trying to be funny, but we would go downtown to the Upper East Side. You get what I'm talking about. And those is more or less our victims, allegedly. Like, we wasn't really going to our blocks to do it. We was going, fuck, let's go downtown, pick them. Whatever the case may be. That's how we was giving it up in the 80s, because where I lived at was the borderline. If you get it, you get it. If you know, you know. Back to the story. So now, he creates a wiffle ball league. We have a draft. Dudes, instead of finding ways to break the law, they're outside playing wiffle ball. We had a kid we called Ribby Man. Who the fuck is Ribby Man? Ribby Man becomes an older guy, and niggas know Ribby Man ain't known for nothing else than being Ribby Man. He tried playing in the streets, and that shit got dirty, grimy, and greasy. But that's what comes with the streets. But he's known as Ribby Man. He's a grown-ass man, U.S. Ribby Man. What's a Ribby Man? He's a man who get mad RBIs. They call me Southpaw because I throw the ball I was left-handed. Dudes had names in the park. They kept stats. I think I won the Cy Young Award. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I think I won the Cy. They even had an award show for this shit. That kept us off the streets, man. That kept a lot of us off the streets. Where we was thirsty on a Friday, Saturday, nice summer day. Instead of us getting lost somewhere in East Harlem, we'd be standing in the park. Yo, there's 3 games scheduled today. We got the Angels, the Mets, and the Yankees. You don't speak about Ty Blessings. That possibly saved a generation of kids by creating peace. This is how we created peace. The OGs we couldn't stand with them because that wasn't gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna with the niggas all day. Shout out to Marcus, man. Y'all know Marcus from the Bikes and Blacks. Y'all know him. He was outside with when the niggas was going around. He was out and all that. Shout out to Yusuf, Bilal, and all of them from 9-7 from Park. Give me a little bit of peace, man. I got cool with the little Frankie and all of them because my man played basketball and that shit on what's that shit about 109th? 106, what's that shit? Boys Harbor. And they used to play ball over there. That's how I got cool with little Frankie and them. From Carver. They called themselves the Junior Carver Mall back then, I think. Some shit like that. So we got along through sports. Asphalt Green, which is by Gracie Mansion in New York, blocks had football teams. This is since the 80s. We the Hurricanes, right? My block. We the young niggas. Exactly. I'm still allowed to tell you the story. These neighborhood OGs that you'll call OGs put together teams to play at Asphalt Green. Asphalt Green is when you drive on the FDR and it says Asphalt Green. You play basketball. It's called Mercury Center. It's like on 84th Street in York at East End. That's money over there, Upper East Side. We made it to the playoffs. Now, I'm going to tell you something that was so real. Tyree and my man Pete put the team together. These wasn't drug dealers. It wasn't a drug dealer team. We even had jerseys. He had the who's who practicing on a Tuesday. Me, Uno, Black, Little Ray. Y'all know Little Ray. Rest in peace, Little Ray. Y'all know Little Ray. Some of y'all met him on the Lower East Side. He used to be in Wall. He from my block. Rest in peace. The who's who. Lil Johns, Jay Quest. Had us practicing. The one game that meant a lot to us. The dudes on my block in football were always somewhat lose a lot of games on First Street at that time. They used to beat them sometimes, but the Hunt First Street will always sort of like beat the older guys. But it was a competition thing, back and forth. We're playing a Hunt First Street to get in the playoffs. This is our Super Bowl. We're playing. This Taft tore us up. I ain't gonna lie to you. Little Chris, Little Ralphie, them niggas beat us the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, we're playing at Asphalt Green. They beat us up bad. We did our thing, but they was fucking us up. Shout out to my man Kess. The game was so big that the older dudes in the hood came to the game. That was our Rucker Park. That was my Rucker Park moment. For me. And I don't play basketball in Asphalt Green. At that time, UFO Fever Uncle came, Jimmy Coco. He had Washington on smash. He had the dogs. He had the Spot Bill. Remember the Spot Bill dogs? What, McKenzie? He had that dog in the park. The who's who at East Harlem, Spanish niggas. Peachy and them niggas pulled up from 101st Street. Them niggas that's been on 103rd and Lex. All them niggas pull up. Because that's their block playing. They're supporting their little niggas. Papa Chino, Papa Jesus and all of them. You know what I'm saying? My nigga B, you know what I'm saying? Papa G, that's my nigga. That's my guy right there. He pull up. All of them pull up. So you got Lex side, you got Wash, you got from First Street side, but you got the hood in there. So this is not a regular football game. The hood came to see this game. The game. He pulled up, bro. He pulled up heavy. My man John was on the 1-2s on his quarterback shit. That nigga thought he was Tony. Back then he thought he was fucking. It was a back and forth. It was going back and forth. Crowd going crazy. Pete running around. Shout out to my man Peter. He running crazy. Get the ball, pass the ball. My man T Cat getting crazy. Little Ray getting crazy. He playing the who's who on First Street. The young niggas that came up that had names for themselves. We going back and forth in this game. This is the biggest game to us. This was my Rucker Park moment. My man Kessler caught it was tied up. And my man Kess caught an interception. And when he ran that shit back, yo, son, that shit went crazy. Yo, my man Tyree, when I seen his face, man, yo, he was like, yo, we about to beat them. We about to win. Kess ran it back. I tackled Kess. Boom. I tackled him. That's how hype I am. I'm running with him, keeping him away. The only thing that was in his way, we had to get him out the way. So I tackled Kess. Boom. After he get the touchdown joint, we going crazy. Yo! I think they scored back. They scored again. The count's getting low. No. It was a punt. They didn't score again. We stopped them. They was forced to punt it off. They flipped back there. The punt was at the throw. These are street niggas you talking about. The future of after the game, street niggas. A lot of niggas became legends. Shit got all crazy. This is after that, it was the PT, shit got all crazy. We went from 138, 131 to PT. When that PT shit came, I can't talk about that. Shit got all crazy. From East Harlem, know what I'm talking about. Well, the ball's in the air. I get the ball. Shakes. My man John hit the block, boom, hit, and the only man that could catch me in this goddamn mud. I got a picture of the man. That's my guy too. The only man that could catch me in that goddamn mud. It's a true story right here. These guys went on to play with a team called Sugar Hill that won football championships in their older age. Let me see where that picture at, man. And I shook him big. I shook him like a French. I shook him like I was at a strip club. And when he was the last man to get to me and I got past him, it was over. I made it to that end zone, man. And I'm not gonna say my touchdown was the winning touchdown, but for me, I became officially key motherfucking nigga. I went down and I got up and I was like, yo, son. And my man Pete was losing his mind. He didn't understand this. Oh my God, we about to beat these little niggas. You know what I'm saying? You hear me? And the dog is losing his. You can tell the dog is even, yo, it's about to get crazy. Yo, son, we won that game. We lost the next one. They had to ring us some Asian kid. They brought some kid from China. I don't know, some niggas from Isaacs. The niggas did some bullshit at Isaacs and brought some Chinese kid in. We went to whip his ass. That's when shit was getting crazy. But I think we didn't care no more. We beat up on First Street, and that's what the streets talked about. Yo, they beat up on First. Now we're going to Mr. G's. Yo, I heard you beat up on First Street. Yo, I heard you beat up on First Street. Shout out to the dead end kids. That was the word of the street. Yo, Zeke, y'all did your thing. Y'all heard your man Kess ran a 50-yard touchdown. That was the hood talk. Now you go to Tab and I see grandma, yo, y'all niggas did your thing. I got to hunt first. It didn't matter we lost to Isaacs. But we beat a hunt first. There wasn't a non-profit organization that made that happen. That was Tyree and Peter from Lex. There wasn't no non-profit organization. So if you think you need a non-profit organization to put something together to create peace, it has to make sense here, don't it? Let's make sense here. That was Zeke Black's record moment. When I walk around East Harlem, that's what, yo, son, that touchdown. Because the who's who was outside that day watching that game. Because it was my block was popular with sports, like a First Street was. So a lot of people came. Older dudes, younger dudes. There's dudes that when I go to East Harlem, I was out there that day, man. Y'all bust them niggas' ass. You know what I'm saying? It was a great game, though. We knew it was our Rucker moment. You looking around, you see kingpins outside. This is crazy. Alleged kingpins. You like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Yo, the niggas on Lex did they thing. And then the dope part about it is, rest in peace to Sweepy on First Street. We walked over to Hunt First because they had that dirty ass weed spot over there. But we went to Hunt First Street, man. And one of them niggas, they was out there. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. This is what created peace. Because niggas that we didn't fuck with was like, yo, what's up? Good game, son. Yo, you did your thing. It created friendships. We went to Hunt First Street like, yo, what's up? Y'all niggas made sports violent. Where if y'all niggas win or lose, you want to shoot out and all that crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all did that shit. That wasn't that, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show the kid I shook and baked though. I got the picture. Got them together. And that's why I speak peace. Because you can spend $30 to keep these young niggas from killing each other. $30. I'm a witness to that in my growth. You know what I'm saying? We never had a war with a First Street. Do you know how I got cool with Aunt White? Because me and my friend John to go to Washington and play basketball against them in the big park. That's when everybody was hustling on 3rd Ave before the Hill Hole. We go downtown. Shout out to my man Sage, G&R, Spawn G&R, and ran ETP and all the hyperactive mob, and Sepp and Bean and all of them. Rest in peace, Zeke Bean, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, Tone Lopez, when he was on Third Ave. Free Kenny Black. I would play basketball against Bubbles and all of them. Bubbles and all of them. We played, rest in peace, Bubs and Poochie and them niggas. We played ball against them. We go to Washington, let's go to Washington and play basketball against them. That's how we became friends. That didn't take no money, you know what I'm saying? And this is, in the older generation, this is what it turned into. Green Eye Mike on the corner. Rest in peace to Sugar Hill in the back. Not Tony, another kid named Sugar Hill. He passed away. You see my man Mikey. You see my man Willie Woo. You see this is BJ right there. Papa Jesus. Man Tyree. This is what came from that in this older age. Sugar Hill. My man Chase. I know Chase Charles. My man Hector. Y'all see Hector? This is what it turned into. That's 5 neighborhoods on one team. Dead End Kids, Sugar Hill, Hilltop, Walsh Mob, ACS, Carver Mob. All in one picture in the later years. See, they're telling me y'all can't create peace, bro? That came out of dude's pockets. This kept wars. This kept wars from happening. There wasn't no nonprofit that did this. There wasn't no marching that did this. We had to create it. All our stars wasn't drug dealers. There was this shit, the sports shit. Niggas wanted to be Zeke Black at one time. I want to be like Key Nitty. Huh? I didn't understand it. After we beat them niggas, it was like the status went to this roof. I walked by the park. Yo, get Zeke. Seriously. I could be walking past Wash. Yo, get Zeke. Nah, shit felt you go in the park. Definitely can't forget about Freeze. Definitely EA man. East Army. You heard? Child shots my man Prince and all that. Prince Zico from 1199. You know what I'm saying? Zone CRT. You know what I'm saying? It's just Sugar Hill touring this prime, man. Free, you know what I'm saying? This brought peace, man. This is 5 neighborhoods on one team. And that's the crack of it. This era, that's the crack of it. That's the mix of the crack here. Dudes is 17, 18, 19 now. They're not 15, 16. This is grown men now. This is what kept peace. Unless you did some dumb shit. So when somebody tell you what I can't do nothing without no resources, they bugging. All this shit came from the mud, bro. Come on, man. That's what made Key motherfucking Nitty. That's what makes me who I am. Key motherfucking Nitty. You want peace? You want them young niggas to stop killing? Then create something that distracts their mind. We looked up to the neighborhood niggas that was playing sports. Tyree wasn't a drug dealer. Tyree went to the army, went on. We ran with K7. He doing what he do. Shout out Tyree. I don't know him. He's Ty Bless. My man Jamal, he's at a radio show. He was a lawyer. The first dude talking about being a lawyer. His son, they call him Smacktographer. He takes mad pictures of these celebrities. That's his son. I don't know his son, but I know Jamal. Jamal from my bill, from 183. Shout out to the Shell brothers, man. Everything wasn't violent, man. We wasn't trying to kill each other. We played sports. I might throw you against a car in the parking lot playing football or push you a little too hard in the park and scrape your knees. But we found ways to make peace. So what we doing today? Yo, we're going to play some stoop ball. That's what we said. Yo, I'm going to 96, we're on ball all day. What's his name? Eric, Alina. He played basketball with us. He used to play basketball with us. He grew up with us. Or we go to Hunter High School, Castle grade school. You shout out to my man Yusuf. We played basketball. Dudes that was doing whatever was on the block would find time to go play basketball. That's when you know we had no smoke. Because we got along, our generation, a lot of us got along. We wasn't looking for the problems. You went to 1, 2, 1 fish, 2 fish. We went to spots. Just this little educational moment for all you, for all you that believe that you can't do something without doing it yourself. They did it. Boom. That's 7 neighborhoods right there. Shout out to East Harlem, and shout out to 141 Sugar Hill. That gang culture changed that with the young boys. Them young boys killing each other. Why you killing yourself for? What happened? Yo, because he claims a hood that's food up north. That's what happened with that. That's that gang culture. No matter if it's Blood, Crips, the Yetas, Trinidadios. Yo, what happened? Yo, they faded his OG, so he's food. I'm just using the terminology food, but that could be any gang. That changed the neighborhood. The outside influences that's not from your neighborhoods. That's what changed that game. Exactly. You're doing it. Shout out to East Harlem, shout out to West Side, man. And that's why I show love to all that because my story has a story. And now that people are paying attention to my story, now you're like, oh shit, this is some deep shit the nigga just said, the guy just said. You know what I'm saying? What's the power in this picture? Right? You see that, right? The power in this picture was, this picture came out of a hip-hop book. They wrote a book about these guys in the 80s. They're from my block. It was called the HVR Crew. The guy on this side, he's one of the biggest Latin promoters in New York City. Adam Torres Consuls. He's from my project. Shout out to Raul and all of them. He used to run with Ted Smooth. At one point, he used to manage Ted Smooth. I even believe he used to manage DJ Suave. Suave from my block. DJ Suave, 99 Piff Unit, with Louis D Show DJ. He's from my block. Salute to Suave. That came out of a book. That's out of a book. Rest in peace, Edwin. The guy in the middle, he's the first dude around us that was a correction officer. I can't tell you what he's doing now, but he was a correction officer. That's my man Dave, brother. Rest in peace. What you think? You go. These are our OGs. You see, these are our hip hop culture. Culture. This is the culture. Listen to these dudes, man. They kept us from killing each other. They played a part to that, man. But you don't know that because you keep following these magazines. Yo, I watched the game is over, so that has to be facts. This was in a book in the 80s. So it just wasn't the New York City Breakers. It just wasn't Rocksteady Crew. There's other crews like the HVR Crew. Shout out to my man Jimbo from Wash. You know Jimmy. Jimmy like two. Jimmy got like 9 lives. He did shot a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? Literally. Shout out to my man Jimbo. Get busy with them hands. Plenty of nights he on Lex Ave. We bugging out. Jimmy can snap his ass off. He out there joking. We snapping. We wilding. We getting sauce on the block. We ain't sitting on cars. He out there, That's Wash niggas. We ain't got to worry about niggas shooting our block up. Why? Because we ain't going to war with nobody. Sitting comfy in your neighborhood, man. Because it wasn't about us being comfortable. It's about our parents being comfortable. Exactly. Let's give you a brief description, man. This is what my corner store looked like in the 80s. Rest in peace, Superman. That's my man Jimmy with the Hawaiian suits on. If you was outside, there was a time when dudes was wearing Hawaiian suits. Summer suits. Y'all know what some of that was. 99 for the Lex, man. Corner store. So we found peace through our own pockets. You know what I'm saying? Peace through our own pockets, man. Oh, that's Lex. That's the phone. A lot of times y'all misinterpret information and you don't really realize that a lot of that outside thing that had to do with this Bloods, Crips, all that gang culture shit, Trinidadios, DDPs, he this, that, and the third. And that's why I think the message gets wrong, gets lost at, because we just say Bloods created this. No, all these other gangs did it too that had that was dubbing lines and calling people fools. So it just wasn't that. You see what happened to rest in peace, a young boy happened in the Bronx. There was a situation between two Dominican lines and a gang, and they did what they did. So a lot of the politics came from just gang culture politics. That's just the real verse way to say it in the New York State prison. From not just prison, but probably in other countries. The politics is what changed the game around. Not just in prison, probably in Santo Domingo, Honduras, and all this other shit that happens. So you can't pinpoint the shit in the street just with the Bloods. It's all those gangs, man. Because it became outside. This is my man DJ Suave. He be on here. He's a heavy-hitter DJ. Y'all probably know him too. He be in all the strip clubs DJing. My man DJ Suave. You know what I'm saying? Heavy-hitter DJ. Knew him since he was a kid, man. Let me find that picture, man, before I go. I'm happy y'all still here. You're learning something. See, when I used to write graffiti, that's what I used to write. I actually tagged that, though. I used to write that. You know what I'm saying? This is where we went to the movies at. Cosmo 116th. That pizza shop, all that, Cosmos. That's what I seen Beach Street at. What's most inspiring about this picture? Most of the people in this picture came from the blocks, allegedly corner stores, and turned their stories into $1 billion to $1 billion empire. Again, hip hop. Oh, that's Jig in the middle, right? Wait a minute, that's Sugar Hill Tone. You know that's the OG. And that's hip hop. I just showed you Sugar Hill Tone with the football team. Remember the team, Sugar Hill? I just showed you the team. Actually, I'm not going to Sugar Hill Tone, the team. It came from the crevices. 141, right? 141. We got Marcy, Brooklyn in the building, right? Hey, hold on. Where Brooklyn at? Come on, man. So again, I don't get caught up in those narratives, man. I know what I grew up around, and I know what kept the peace. I don't know what zip code some of you dudes lived in. I can't speak for your zip codes. I can only speak for my zip code and what I was around and what kept the peace. Thank you, Tyree. You saved a lot of lives, bro. You kept a lot of kids focused. You had a lot of kids that was playing sports that when they began to go to high school, they found shit to do to stay busy. Some people played chess. Some people played high school basketball. Thank you, Tyree, because you kept us busy. A lot of us, in the world of the crack epidemic in the beginning, it began to change our households. And he gave us something else to focus on, like watching college football and playing football on the weekends, outside in the back. Thank you, Ty Bless. Just like my man Black in them, the graffiti thing. I got into graffiti because my man, because these dudes was writing graffiti on 97th Street. Shout out to Kilos and Spoken Up. I started writing graffiti, getting into that shit, go to the Hall of Fame. As legal as that shit was, it kept a motherfucker out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? So, I can only speak for my zip code. I can't speak for yours. I cannot speak for your zip code. I can only speak for mine. I'm going to show you something. Hip-hop culture. My guy right here, Romy Rome, right? Romy Rome used to dance in all our house parties. Look, but Rome started dancing. He started getting his dance on. Rome took it serious. He got down with a rap group called Ziggy. Y'all may have seen them on New York Undercover when Ziggy performed. Or you may have seen them. That's when hip-hop was like, I call it the Fool Sneakums era. You had the Shaq Fu, remember the Fu Snickums? You had Ziggy, and you had them dudes, La Smooth, Ain't Nothing to Prove, La Smooth. That's when that sort of hip hop. Mad Lion was popping, Madism was popping. That time in hip hop was popping. That's my man Romy Rome. He danced in all that Playhouse Power. Whatever shit that Puff had, Puff and them know him. That's my man Romy Rome, man. Shout out to Span. Wifey took the picture. We was in Memorial Park. They call it Marcus Garvey Park now. But the Memorial Park, for those that's not from the United States, Memorial Park is the scene from self-destruction. The scene from self-destruction that Kumo D was rapping. That's Memorial Park. That's the scene. For those that's not from America or from New York, when you look at self-destruction, if you check it out again, you see Kumo D rapping. Where he's rapping at, that's my Morris Park. They call it now Marcus Garvey Park. This shit. You know what I'm saying? This picture, man. This picture, man. Yeah, see, I sort of hate how it goes. Jordan. But it's my man Kess. I was talking about my man Kess. We on, this block right here this is Chambers Street. Me and my man Kess. That's my man. The guy said that got the interception and ran. That's Kess right here. I seen him on Chambers Street. On my block, my man Rex. You heard? My man Kess, right? Kess. Because by me showing your receipts, you understand what I'm talking about now. Okay, that's his man. He said with the run. Yes. I'm gonna find a picture for you that I have to log off. You know what I'm saying? Because that shots my man Pina. My man Pina is this. He's incognito right now. It's my nigga Nut. You know what I'm saying? They know over 25 years. My man Nut from the Bronx. You heard? The trendsetter. You know what I'm saying? My nigga Nut Gambino. He incognito, right? I met him in Albany. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? From Webster Projects. And I shouldn't have to run from a black man, because that's self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. D9. Break it. Hold on. I'm gonna get the picture. It's in here. To pull up before. See? You all got along. That's JJ, rest in peace, Tone Lopez, in front of building 1539. Told you all go up, JJ Slade, rest in peace, Tone Lopez. You all got along with each other, man. And hip hop did that. The culture, music, dance, conversation. Yo, you heard the new Run DMC joint? Yo, you heard the new Coogee Rap joint? Yo, you heard that? The Kane was crazy. This is what brought the conversation. Come outside. Yo, son, Kane went crazy on Raw. Word? How about that shit he did with the Biz? That was better. Now, word to the mother. You know what I'm saying? Hip-hop is, the hip-hop music created the conversations. They could feed it. Yo, you seen the 4 Chain? That niggas got, them dudes, Des and them got wicked. The scheme of them was rocking. Those created conversations. But a lot of y'all, you know what I'm saying? I'm teaching y'all, it's a teachable moment. Can't forget about Heavy D. Heavy D and the boys. So you see a culture of people that got love for each other, man. You understand it. Remember all this shit we grew up with. Remember this? Boom. Every Sunday. For your music box, you want to know who owned this show? African American. Kanan Wayans, right? The first time I seen Kanan Wayans, remember Hollywood Shuffle? They took Hollywood Shuffle and went to the moon after that. Him and Robert Townsend. Remember, to me, when I first seen that, I'm pretty sure that Robert Townsend was doing things way before then. But to be honest with you, when I seen that, him and that movie, that went viral. Hollywood Shuffle. This is every Sunday, man. Like we would go home to watch Video Music Box, who don't get his accolades, but he definitely was the first video hip hop guy. Every day in living color. But we can't forget about Ron Alexander and the rest of them. Look, for hip hop, Ralph McDaniels in living color. Remember the Sundays, not Ralph McDaniels. Remember this every Sunday. Remember? Part of the culture. Remember one of the hip hop movies, Who's the Man? Remember that? Who's the Man? It's outside, man. I'm just showing you what's outside. Remember this? Uptown Comedy Club? Remember this? All this Flex and them came from that. Yes, he's one of the first. He did the first real hip hop show every day. Robert Daniels. Then everybody else snatched onto the idea every day. It was MTV with MTV Raps, then BET caught it. But he's the first one to do hip hop videos every day. We can't forget about Strapped. We can't forget about Strap. Remember Strap? They did the scenes in from Jet on 12th Street. They're running the projects. Remember that? And this infamous show right here, shout out to New York Undercover. When there was a part of New York Undercover, Andre Harrell. One of the producers of New York Undercover was Dick Wolf. Dick Wolf, not the Blood Game member, but Dick Wolf owns the New York, the Law and Order franchise, but he also, when he was young, poor kids, he also had Hill Street Blues, the cop show, first. Then he did the New York Undercover, and then he did Law and Order, and the rest is history. You might have something else on the side. I just, from what I remember, waking up, and I remember watching Hill Street Blues, the crazy ass police station. So I'm showing y'all people what was going on in that era. We was going home to watch these shows too. We was going home to watch these shows. These shows was produced by African Americans. Andre Harrell has something to do with New York Undercover, right? Uptown Comedy Club, African American. To my knowledge, somebody said Bruce Leroy has something to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Strapped. I don't know who did Strapped, but we could say In Living Color, King Wayne's. You know what I'm saying? So I'm giving you a piece of the culture of New York, man. The Night Rider. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I gotta find this picture, man. I'm very long-winded. I'm sorry, probably people. I hate being long-winded, man. You know what I'm saying? Here with the picture. The guy right here. Shout out to the Dennis. This is football. This is a football team, right? That's a football celebrity. Papacino, my man Kev Clark from Lex, but he's down with the Dead End Kids. But the kid right here, that's the kid that we played football against. Yeah. Yep. Can't forget about James M2. Remember that song, Juicy Fruit and all that. That family shit, right? K-Hard Salute. That's what I'm saying, man. So there's a lot of things that we've done that nobody talks about. The director of Beast Street was Stan Lathan. Stan Lathan was also part of Def Comedy Jam. Stan Lathan is Sanaa Lathan's father. You know what I'm saying? He's a part of our culture. He's one of the first African-American directors at that time in the 70s, going into the 80s to the 90s. Stan Lathan. Russell Simmons, as hip-hop began to grow, he was linking with the Links. Hell yeah, K-Hard was going home for that. That was family time. Cosby Show, that was family time. Living Color on Sunday, you're watching a Living Color like this. Oh shit, yo, Living Color's coming on. You get your Kool-Aid together. You get your rice and your chicken, you like this. Yo. Come on, man. That's the picture, man. Yeah. He was, you know what I'm saying? You had to push him out the way that day, but definitely shout out to him, man. So remember, man, we want to say to the hood and say to the kids, think about how you're going to do it. Don't look for the resources, create the resource. It costs nothing but $50 to get some gloves and the bat and teach them baseball. Teach them this. And they may like this shit, you know what I'm saying? They only like drill because they sit around this shit all day. They didn't hear that shit all day. Hell yeah, those are the movies. Coolie High, you know what I'm saying? They killed more chicks, shit got crazy. Oh man. But with that being said, man, I appreciate y'all. Salute to everybody that pulled up. It was a good, I guess, 3-hour show. Yep, the heartbeats. Exactly. I remember we watched Platoon in the movie theater. That shit was crazy. We watched Platoon, looked at the Vietnam, shit was crazy, Platoon. We watched the Terminator, that shit was crazy. We found things as poor kids to do. The hood wasn't that fucked up. The movies was like $5 back then, $6. You got, you know, for $10 you got a movie, some popcorn, and a soda. Like, come on, bro. We knew we was fucked up. That's why we got working papers. We knew that's why we got working papers. We already knew. I can't wait to get the green. What was it, the green card first and the blue card? But you got working papers, and this is how you put money in your pocket. That's why a lot of dudes have jobs. Straight to the guy. Everybody didn't hustle. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, yes, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Shout out to Spanish Harlem. Shout out to my block. Hilltop, Lexington Avenue. Rest in peace, Superman. Rest in peace, Poodle. Rest in peace, Kara. 99th and Lex to Hilltop, Washington. With that being said, I appreciate y'all. What's your jacket? I see you. Nothing but love. Joffrey was popping heavy on the sleeves. We here. We out.